The vast chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with tension as representatives from 100 worlds gathered for an unprecedented vote. At the center of the debate stood Ryloth Zev, his iridescent scales shimmering under the harsh lights as he addressed the assembly. "Esteemed colleagues," Ryloth's voice boomed, amplified by unseen technology, "we stand at a crossroads. For centuries, we have observed the species known as humans on the planet they call Earth. Today, we must decide, are they ready for first contact?" A murmur rippled through the alien delegates. Some leaned forward, curiosity evident in their varied physiologies. Others recoiled, mandibles clicking in agitation or tentacles writhing nervously. Thraxian Vel, the Thraxian representative, rose on his four legs. "Ryloth, you cannot be serious. These humans are savages. Have you seen their history? Wars, genocide, environmental destruction. They'd be a plague upon the galaxy." "I concur," chittered Vorlax Drone, his exoskeleton gleaming. "Their technological progress is admirable, but their wisdom lags centuries behind. They'd be more likely to shoot at our ships than welcome them." Ryloth raised a hand, silencing the growing chatter. "Your concerns are noted and shared, but consider their potential. In mere millennia, they've gone from stone tools to space exploration. Their adaptability is unparalleled." "Adaptability?" scoffed Xylox Quar, his gelatinous form rippling. "You mean their propensity for violence. Need I remind the Council of the Crixin incident?" A collective shudder passed through the chamber. The Crixin incident, where a peaceful race had been driven to extinction by their own first contact protocols, was a stark reminder of the dangers of interspecies meetings. As the debate raged on, a lone figure watched from the shadows. Xenara Kith, lead scientist of the Earth observation team, felt her heart sink. She had spent decades studying humans, marveling at their resilience, their creativity, their capacity for both great evil and tremendous good. But how could she convey the depth of human potential to a council blinded by fear? Meanwhile, light years away on Earth, Aiden Cross woke with a start. The 28-year-old astrophysicist rubbed his eyes, trying to shake off the lingering unease from a dream he couldn't quite remember. Something about stars speaking to him, about a great decision being made. As he stumbled to his kitchen for coffee, Aiden had no idea that at that very moment, the fate of humanity hung in the balance. Nor did he know that in a few short hours, his life and the course of human history would change forever. Back in the council chamber, Ryloth called for order. "We have heard arguments from all sides. It is time to vote. The motion before us, to declare Earth and its human inhabitants too dangerous for first contact, and to enact a galactic quarantine until further notice." The chamber fell silent as the voting commenced. Xenara held her breath, her pale fingers intertwined in a gesture of hope she had learned from humans. One by one, the votes were tallied. As the final result appeared on the holographic display, Ryloth's voice was heavy with finality. "The motion passes. Earth is hereby quarantined. All observation teams are to withdraw immediately. May the stars have mercy on us if we're wrong." Xenara slipped out of the chamber, her mind racing. She had to do something. The humans deserved a chance, and she knew just the person who might be able to help her give them that chance. Unaware of the monumental decision that had just sealed Earth's fate, Aiden Cross stepped out of his apartment, ready to start another day at the observatory. Little did he know, his stars were about to align in ways he could never have imagined. Aiden Cross squinted at the monitor, his brow furrowed in concentration. The data streaming across the screen made no sense. For weeks, he'd been tracking an anomaly in the outer reaches of the solar system, a gravitational fluctuation that defied explanation. "Hey, Ethan," he called out to his colleague. "Can you take a look at this?" Ethan Grayson, a lanky physicist with a perpetual 5 o'clock shadow, leaned over Aiden's shoulder. "Weird. It's almost like something's out there, but cloaked?" Aiden snorted. "Right. Because aliens are totally hiding in our backyard." Little did they know how close to the truth they were. Miles above Earth's surface, Xenara Kith paced the observation deck of the cloaked research vessel, The order to withdraw had come through, but she couldn't bring herself to leave. Not yet. Not when she was so close to a breakthrough in understanding human potential. "Xenara, we must go," Turlanth, her assistant, pleaded. "The Council's decision is final." She whirled to face him, her luminescent eyes flashing. "Final? Based on what? Fear? Ignorance? We can't abandon them like this." As if in response to her outburst, an alarm blared through the ship. Xenara rushed to the console, her heart's racing. "No, no, no," she muttered. "What is it?" Turlanth asked, his tendrils twitching nervously. "Our cloaking field is failing, and, by the stars, we're drifting into Earth's atmosphere." Back on Earth, Aiden's equipment went haywire. "Holy," he breathed, watching his readings spiked off the charts. "Ethan, are you seeing this?" But Ethan was already sprinting for the observatory's main telescope. Aiden followed, his mind reeling. As he burst onto the observation platform, Ethan was already peering through the eyepiece. "Aiden," Ethan's voice was barely a whisper. "You're going to want to see this." With trembling hands, Aiden looked through the telescope. There, descending through the atmosphere in a ball of fire, was unmistakably a spacecraft. It's coming down near here," Aiden said, his voice hoarse. "We have to go." "Go? Are you insane?" Ethan grabbed his arm. "We should call the authorities." Aiden shook him off. "And tell them what? That aliens are landing? They'll think we're crazy. No, we need to see this for ourselves." As they raced to Aiden's beat-up Jeep, neither noticed the black SUVs converging on the observatory from all directions. In the plummeting spacecraft, Xenara fought for control. "Turlanth, send out a distress signal to the fleet." "I can't," he cried. "All communications are jammed. It's like something's interfering deliberately." Xenara's blood ran cold. This was no accident. Someone wanted them to crash, wanted first contact to happen under these circumstances. But why? As the ship hurtled towards Earth, Xenara made a split-second decision. "Turlanth, get to the escape pod. I'll try to land this thing." "But—" "Go," she commanded. As her assistant reluctantly complied, Xenara gritted her teeth and aimed for a clearing in the forest below. The impact was tremendous. Xenara was thrown from her seat, her world exploding into pain and darkness. When she came to, smoke filled the cabin. Sparks flew from shattered consoles. With agonizing effort, she dragged herself towards the emergency hatch. Outside, Aiden slammed on the brakes as they reached the edge of the forest. A plume of smoke rose in the distance. "There," Ethan pointed. They scrambled out of the Jeep, racing towards the crash site. As they burst into a clearing, they skidded to a halt. Before them lay the smoking wreckage of an honest-to-God flying saucer, and crawling from the twisted metal was a figure that was undeniably not human. Aiden and Ethan stood frozen, their worlds forever changed. In that moment, none of them, Aiden, Ethan, or Xenara, realized they were being watched. From the shadows of the forest, figures in black tactical gear raised their weapons. The true architects of this accidental first contact were about to make their move. Aiden's mind raced, torn between fear and an overwhelming sense of wonder. The alien figure before them stumbled, clearly injured. Without thinking, he took a step forward. "Aiden, what are you doing?" Ethan hissed, grabbing his arm. "We can't just leave her. Whatever." "Look, it's hurt," Aiden replied, shaking off Ethan's grip. As if on cue, Xenara collapsed. Aiden rushed forward, his scientific curiosity overriding any sense of self-preservation. As he reached her, he was struck by how almost human she looked. 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, but with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer with an inner light, and eyes that were pools of swirling galaxies. "Hey," Aiden said softly, kneeling beside her. "Can you understand me?" Xenara's eyes widened in surprise. "Yes," she replied, her voice melodic yet tinged with pain. You're not afraid?" Before Aiden could respond, the forest erupted with sound and motion. Black-clad figures swarmed the clearing, weapons raised. "Step away from the alien," a voice boomed through a megaphone. Aiden instinctively moved to shield Xenara. "Wait, she's injured. We need to help her," I said. "Step away," the voice repeated. Aiden felt rough hands grabbing him, pulling him back. Ethan was already being restrained, his face a mask of terror. "Aiden, what the hell is going on?" As Aiden struggled against his captors, he saw more operatives approaching Xenara with what looked like a stasis pod. "No, leave her alone," he shouted. Suddenly, a blinding light filled the clearing. Everyone, humans and operatives alike, shielded their eyes. When the light faded, Xenara was gone. "Find her," the leader of the operatives barked. She couldn't have gone far. In the chaos that followed, Aiden felt something pressed into his hand. He glanced down to see a small, pulsing device unlike anything he'd ever seen before. "You too," an operative pointed at Aiden and Ethan. "You're coming with us. National security." As they were led away, Aiden's mind whirled. Who were these people? How long had they known about aliens? And what had Xenara given him? Miles away, in a secret underground facility, Lucas Reed paced nervously. As head of the clandestine extraterrestrial containment and research division ECID, he'd been preparing for this day for years. But now that it was here, he felt woefully unprepared. "Sir," his assistant, Maya Bennett, entered the room. "The operation was partially successful. We've secured the crash site and 2 civilian witnesses, but the alien escaped." Lucas ran a hand through his graying hair. "Escaped? How?" Maya shook her head. "Unknown, sir. There was some kind of energy surge. We're analyzing the data now." Lucas sighed heavily. "What about the ship?" "Being transported here as we speak. Preliminary analysis shows technology far beyond our current understanding." "And the civilians?" Maya consulted her tablet. Aiden Cross and Ethan Grayson, both astrophysicists from the nearby observatory. They made direct contact with the alien before we could intervene." Lucas's eyes narrowed. "Direct contact? Were they exposed to any alien biologics?" "We're running tests now, sir." "Keep them isolated until we know for sure," Lucas ordered. "And Maya? Double the search teams. Find that alien. The fate of our world may depend on it." As Maya left, Lucas turned to the wall of monitors behind him. Each showed a different news channel, all reporting on the meteor that had crashed near the observatory. How long before the truth got out, and what would happen when it did? Meanwhile, in a cave miles from the crash site, Xenara materialized, her emergency teleporter smoking and useless. She slumped against the cave wall, her injuries taking their toll. As her vision blurred, her last thought was of the human who had tried to help her. Perhaps there was hope for this species after all. Back in the ICID transport vehicle, Aiden clutched the alien device, careful to keep it hidden. Whatever was going on, he had a feeling this small piece of technology might be the key to unraveling it all. He glanced at Ethan, who sat pale and shaking beside him. "It's going to be okay," Aiden whispered, trying to convince himself as much as his friend. "We're going to figure this out." Little did he know, the adventure and danger were only beginning. The interrogation room was stark and cold, its metal walls seeming to close in on Aiden as he sat under the harsh glare of fluorescent lights. He'd lost track of time since being brought to this underground facility, separated from Ethan and stripped of all his possessions except for the alien device, which he'd managed to hide in his shoe. The door opened, and a man in a crisp suit entered, followed by a woman with a tablet. Aiden recognized them from the clearing Lucas Reed and Maya Bennett. "Mr. Cross," Lucas began, his voice calm but authoritative. "I hope you understand the gravity of your situation. You've witnessed something few humans ever have, and now you have a choice to make." Aiden leaned forward, his curiosity piqued despite his fear. "What kind of choice?" Lucas smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "You can either cooperate fully with us, sign some non-disclosure agreements, and potentially join our organization. Or we can ensure you never remember anything about today." A chill ran down Aiden's spine. "You'd, what? Erase my memories?" "We have ways," Lucas said cryptically. "So, what's it going to be? A chance to explore the greatest scientific frontier in human history, or blissful ignorance?" Aiden's mind raced. He thought of Xenara, injured and alone, of the device hidden in his shoe, of all the questions burning in his mind. "I'll cooperate," he said finally. Lucas nodded, satisfied. "Good choice. Maya will brief you on the basics. Welcome to Ekid, Mr. Cross." As Lucas left, Maya sat across from Aiden. "Ekid stands for Extraterrestrial Containment and Research Division," she explained. "We've known about alien life for decades, Mr. Cross. Today was just the first. Unplanned contact." "But why keep it secret?" Aiden asked. "Don't people have a right to know?" Maya's expression hardened. "Imagine the panic, the societal upheaval. No, it's better this way. Now, tell me everything you remember about the alien you encountered." Aiden hesitated, then began recounting his experience, carefully omitting any mention of the device. As he spoke, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched, evaluated. Meanwhile, in another part of the facility, Ethan Grayson was having a very different experience. Strapped to a chair, electrodes attached to his temples, he screamed as pulses of energy coursed through his brain, systematically erasing his memories of the day's events. Back in the cave, Xenara regained consciousness. Her wounds had begun to heal, thanks to her species' advanced biology, but she was far from full strength. She needed to find Aiden to warn him about the true danger humanity faced. Using her limited psychic abilities, she reached out, trying to sense the device she'd given him. There a faint pulse, deep underground. Gathering her strength, she began to make her way towards it. In his office, Lucas Reed reviewed the footage of Aiden's interrogation. "He's hiding something," he muttered. "Sir," an aide interrupted, "we've detected an energy signature similar to the alien ships. It's moving towards the facility." Lucas's eyes widened. "Lock down the perimeter. I want that alien found." As alarms began to blare throughout the facility, Aiden was being led to a containment cell. In the chaos, he managed to slip the device from his shoe into his pocket. As soon as he was alone, he examined it closely. The device was small, about the size of a coin, with intricate patterns etched into its surface. As Aiden turned it over in his hands, it began to glow softly. Suddenly, a holographic display sprang to life, showing a map of the facility and a blinking dot moving steadily closer. Aiden's heart raced. Xenara was coming. But was she coming to rescue him, or was she part of something bigger? And what would happen when she arrived? Outside the facility, hidden cameras captured a shimmer in the air as Xenara's cloaking technology struggled to maintain her invisibility. She was weak, but determined. The fate of two worlds rested on what would happen next. As sirens wailed and armed guards rushed to their positions, the stage was set for a confrontation that would change the course of human history. Aiden clutched the alien device, knowing he stood at the crossroads of humanity's greatest adventure and its potential doom. The truth was coming, ready or not. Alarms blared through the Ekid facility as Aiden's mind raced, trying to process the implications of the holographic map. Xenara was coming, but to what end? And how could he possibly help her while trapped in this cell? Suddenly, the door to his cell hissed open. Maya stood there, her face a mask of urgency. "Mr. Cross, we need to move. Now." Aiden hesitated, his hand closing around the device in his pocket. "What's going on?" "The alien has breached our outer defenses," Maya explained, ushering him into the corridor. "We're evacuating all non-essential personnel." As they hurried through the labyrinthine facility, Aiden's thoughts turned to Ethan. "Wait, what about my friend?" Maya's expression flickered with something Aiden couldn't quite read. "Mr. Grayson has been processed. He's being transported to a secure location." A chill ran down Aiden's spine. "Processed? What does that mean?" Before Maya could answer, an explosion rocked the facility. The lights flickered, and emergency red lighting bathed the corridor in an eerie glow. "She's here," Maya whispered, drawing her weapon. Aiden's heart pounded. This was his chance. In the chaos of the moment, he shoved Maya aside and sprinted down the corridor, following the pulsing dot on the holographic map. "Cross, stop," Maya's shouts faded as Aiden ran, his feet guided by the alien technology in his hand. He rounded a corner and skidded to a halt. There, surrounded by a shimmering force field and holding off a squad of Ekid guards, was Xenara. Her iridescent skin glowed with power, her eyes fierce and determined. "Xenara," Aiden called out. She turned, her expression softening as she saw him. With a gesture, she expanded her force field to encompass Aiden, pulling him to safety as the guards' weapons' fire dissipated harmlessly against the barrier. "Aiden," Xenara's melodic voice was strained with effort. "We must leave. Now, there's so much you need to know." But Aiden began, only to be cut off by another explosion. Through the smoke strode Lucas Reed, holding what looked like an alien weapon. "I'm afraid I can't let you do that," he said, his voice cold. "Stand down, Xenara. You're outnumbered and outgunned." Xenara's eyes narrowed. "You have no idea what you're dealing with, human. The fate of your entire species hangs in the balance." Lucas smirked. "Oh, I think I have a pretty good idea. After all, we've had your ship for hours now. Amazing what our scientists can learn in such a short time." Aiden looked between them, confusion evident on his face. "What are you talking about? What's really going on here?" Xenara placed a hand on Aiden's shoulder. "The Galactic Council has deemed humanity too dangerous for contact. They've quarantined your planet, but there are those who see your potential, who want to give you a chance." "And there are those of us," Lucas interjected, "who believe humanity should forge its own path among the stars, without the interference of alien overlords." The standoff was interrupted by a familiar voice. "Aiden, what's happening?" Ethan stumbled into view, his eyes unfocused, a trickle of blood running from his nose. "Ethan," Aiden moved to help his friend, but Xenara held him back. "He's been compromised," she warned. The memory wipe was incomplete. Lucas raised his weapon. "Enough talk. You're coming with us, Xenara. Your knowledge will help us prepare for what's out there." Xenara's force field pulsed. "I'm sorry, but I can't allow that." With a burst of energy, the force field expanded rapidly, knocking back Lucas and his guards. In the confusion, Xenara grabbed Aiden's arm. "We have to go. Now." But Aiden protested. "We'll come back for him," Xenara promised. "But right now, we need to get you to safety." As alarms continued to blare and shouts echoed through the facility, Xenara activated a device on her wrist. A shimmering portal opened before them. "Do you trust me?" she asked Aiden, her galaxy eyes searching his. Aiden looked back at the chaos behind them, at Ethan's confused face, at Lucas struggling to his feet. Then he turned to Xenara and nodded. "Then jump." Hand in hand, human and alien leapt into the unknown, leaving behind a facility in turmoil and a world on the brink of an interstellar revelation. As the portal closed behind them, Lucas Reed stared at the empty space, his face a mask of determination. "Initiate Protocol Omega," he commanded into his calm. "It's time to take the fight to them." The stage was set for a conflict that would span galaxies, with humanity caught in the middle. And Aiden Cross, unwitting astrophysicist turned cosmic fugitive, was about to learn just how vast and dangerous the universe truly was. The universe twisted and warped around Aiden as he hurtled through the portal, his hand clasped tightly in Xenara's. Colors he had no names for flashed past, and for a moment, he felt as if he was everywhere and nowhere at once. Then, with a jolt, his feet hit solid ground. Aiden stumbled, gasping for breath, his mind reeling from the journey. As his vision cleared, he found himself in what appeared to be the bridge of a spaceship, sleek and alien in design. "Welcome aboard the Starweaver," Xenara said, steadying him. We should be safe here, at least for now. Aiden's scientific mind kicked into overdrive as he took in his surroundings. Holographic displays flickered with information in an alien script, and through the viewscreen, he could see the inky blackness of space, dotted with unfamiliar stars. We're in space, he breathed, awe and fear mingling in his voice. Xenara nodded, moving to a control panel. Just beyond your solar system's heliopause, far enough to avoid immediate detection, but close enough to monitor the situation on Earth. As the initial shock began to wear off, questions flooded Aiden's mind. Xenara, I need answers. What's really going on? Why did the Galactic Council quarantine Earth? And what was Lucas talking about back there? Xenara sighed, her iridescent skin dimming slightly. It's complicated, Aiden. The Galactic Council has been observing Earth for centuries. Many species were eager to make contact, to welcome humanity into the galactic community. But others feared your potential. Our potential? Aiden echoed. Your adaptability, your creativity, your drive to explore and conquer. It frightens them, Xenara explained. Humanity has achieved in millennia what took other species eons. The vote to quarantine Earth was meant to buy time, to see if humans would destroy themselves or overcome their violent tendencies. Aiden frowned. But you disagree with this decision. I believe in giving chances, Xenara said softly. I've studied your people, Aiden. Yes, you're capable of great destruction, but also of incredible kindness and innovation. You deserve the opportunity to prove yourselves. And Lucas? Ekid? Aiden pressed. Xenara's expression darkened. A complication we didn't foresee. Somehow, a faction on Earth discovered the existence of alien life. They've been secretly preparing for conflict, reverse engineering any alien technology they could get their hands on. They see the galaxy as a threat to be conquered rather than a community to join. Aiden's mind reeled with the implications. So now what? We can't just leave Earth in the dark, or in the hands of people like Lucas. No, we can't, Xenara agreed. That's why I brought you here, Aiden. We need to prove to the Galactic Council that humanity is ready for contact, while also exposing the danger posed by Ekid. Suddenly, an alarm blared through the ship. Xenara rushed to a console, her fingers flying over the controls. What is it? Aiden asked, tension rising in his voice. Xenara's eyes widened in disbelief. Impossible. There's a ship approaching, of Earth origin. The viewscreen flickered to life, showing a massive, angular vessel emerging from the darkness of space. Its design was a crude fusion of human and alien technology, bristling with weapons. How? Aiden gasped. How could they have followed us? They didn't, Xenara said grimly. They were already out here. Aiden, I fear we've grossly underestimated how far Ekid's reach extends. The comm system crackled to life, and Lucas Reed's voice filled the bridge. Xenara, Aiden, I'll give you one chance to surrender. Don't make me take more drastic measures. Aiden looked to Xenara, seeing the conflict in her alien eyes. They were outgunned and cornered, with the fate of two worlds hanging in the balance. What do we do? He asked. Xenara's expression hardened with determination. We fight, and we prove that humanity is worth saving. As the Ekid ship loomed ever closer, Aiden felt a strange calm settle over him. Whatever came next, he knew he was part of something far greater than himself. The true first contact between humanity and the galaxy was about to begin, and he was at the center of it all. Xenara's hands flew over the controls, preparing the Starweaver for the confrontation ahead. Aiden, she said, her voice steady, I need you to man the secondary systems. Your insight into human tactics might be our edge. As Aiden took his position, the stars seemed to hold their breath. The next few moments would determine the course of human history, and perhaps the fate of the galaxy itself. The vastness of space became a battlefield as the Starweaver and the Ekid vessel faced off. Aiden's hands trembled slightly as he familiarized himself with the alien controls, acutely aware of the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Xenara, he called out, studying the readouts before him. Their ship. It's not just reverse-engineered tech. Some of these systems, they're beyond anything I've ever seen. How is this possible? Xenara's expression was grim. It seems Ekid has had more contact with extraterrestrial life than we realized. This complicates things significantly. Before they could discuss further, the Ekid ship opened fire. Brilliant beams of energy lanced through space, narrowly missing the Starweaver as Xenara executed a series of evasive maneuvers. "Aiden, I need you to modulate our shield frequency," Xenara shouted over the blare of alarms. "They're using a hybrid weapon system our standard defenses can't fully counter." Aiden's scientific mind kicked into overdrive, analyzing the attack patterns and energy signatures. With a burst of intuition, he adjusted the shields, causing the next volley to dissipate harmlessly against their defenses. "Good work," Xenara praised, her fingers dancing across the controls. "Now, let's show them what this ship can really do." The Starweaver surged forward, its advanced propulsion system leaving a trail of exotic particles in its wake. Aiden watched in awe as Xenara piloted the ship with a grace that defied the laws of physics as he understood them. "We can't keep this up forever," Aiden noted, watching their power levels fluctuate. "We need a plan." Xenara nodded. "You're right. We need to end this quickly and get word to the Galactic Council. But first..." She opened a communication channel. "Lucas Reed, this is your final warning. Stand down, or we will be forced to take action." Lucas's laughter crackled through the speakers. "You're outgunned and outnumbered, Xenara. Soon, we'll have your ship and all its secrets. Humanity will take its rightful place among the stars, with or without the Council's approval." As Lucas spoke, Aiden noticed something on his console, a subtle fluctuation in the Ekid ship's energy signature. "Xenara," he whispered, "I think their systems are unstable. The human and alien tech, it's not fully integrated. If we can exploit that..." Xenara's eyes lit up with understanding. "Aiden, you're brilliant. Quick, help me recalibrate our main deflector array." Working in tandem, human and alien repurposed the Starweaver's defensive systems into an offensive weapon. Just as the Ekid ship moved in for what they thought would be a killing blow, Xenara fired. A pulse of carefully modulated energy struck the larger vessel, causing cascading failures throughout its hybrid systems. Explosions blossomed along its hull as incompatible technologies violently rejected each other. "No!" Lucas's voice roared over the comm. "What have you done?" Aiden watched in horror as the Ekid ship began to break apart. "Xenara, we have to help them." For a moment, Xenara hesitated, centuries of caution warring with compassion. Then, seeing the look in Aiden's eyes, she nodded. "You're right. Prepare for emergency teleportation." As the Starweaver systems locked onto life signs aboard the failing vessel, Aiden couldn't help but marvel at the situation. Here he was, a human, convincing an alien to save other humans who had just tried to kill them. If this wasn't proof of humanity's potential, he didn't know what was. The teleportation process was chaotic. Injured Ekid personnel materialized on the Starweaver's bridge, along with a furious Lucas Reed. As Xenara worked to stabilize the new arrivals, Lucas lunged at Aiden. "You fool," he snarled, grabbing Aiden by the collar. "Do you have any idea what you've done? We were humanity's best hope for survival in a hostile universe." Aiden met Lucas's gaze steadily. "No, we're humanity's best hope. All of us, working together, not against each other or the rest of the galaxy." Before Lucas could respond, a new alarm sounded. Xenara's eyes widened as she read the display. "We have multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. It's the Galactic Council fleet." As the enormity of the situation sank in, Aiden realized that the real challenge was just beginning. With Ekid's secrets exposed and the Council on their doorstep, humanity's first official contact with alien life was about to begin. And he, Aiden Cross, once a simple astrophysicist, now stood at the center of it all, ready to fight for humanity's place among the stars. The view screen of the Starweaver filled with the awe-inspiring sight of the Galactic Council fleet. Ships of various designs and sizes, each more advanced than anything humanity had ever dreamed of, surrounded them in a display of overwhelming power. Aiden's breath caught in his throat. "Xenara, what do we do now?" Before she could answer, a new voice boomed through the ship's communication system. "This is High Counselor Thraxion Vel of the Galactic Council. Xenara Kith, you stand accused of violating the quarantine order. Surrender immediately." Xenara straightened, her iridescent skin pulsing with determination. "High Counselor, I request an emergency session of the Council. The situation on Earth is far more complex than we realized." There was a tense pause before Thraxion responded. "Granted. Prepare for teleportation to the Council chambers." As the familiar shimmer of teleportation energy enveloped them, Aiden felt a hand grasp his arm. He turned to see Lucas, his face a mask of desperation. "Cross, you can't trust them," Lucas hissed. "The Council, Xenara, they'll never understand humanity's true potential. We need to stand united against." His words were cut off as they materialized in a vast, circular chamber. Alien beings of all shapes and sizes surrounded them. Their collective gaze a weight Aiden could almost physically feel. Thraxion Vel, an imposing figure with 4 arms and a carapace that shimmered with bioluminescence, addressed the assembly. "Esteemed colleagues, we face an unprecedented situation. The humans have not only become aware of our existence, but have developed technology far beyond their expected capabilities." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Aiden noticed some aliens recoiling in fear, while others leaned forward with curiosity. Xenara stepped forward. "High Counselor, members of the Council, I stand before you to argue for humanity's inclusion in the galactic community. Yes, they have advanced quickly, but is that not a testament to their potential?" "Potential for destruction," another counselor interjected. Aiden recognized him as Vorlax Droon from Xenara's earlier description. "They nearly destroyed their own planet, and now they seek to conquer the stars." Lucas, despite being restrained by council guards, managed to shout, "We seek only to protect ourselves. You left us no choice." The chamber erupted into chaos, with counselors arguing amongst themselves. Aiden looked to Xenara, who nodded encouragingly. Taking a deep breath, he stepped forward. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," Aiden began, his voice shaky at first but growing stronger. "I am Aiden Cross, a scientist from Earth. I stand before you not as a conqueror or a threat, but as a seeker of knowledge and understanding." The chamber fell silent, all eyes turning to this unexpected human speaker. "Yes, humanity has made mistakes," Aiden continued. "We've fought wars, damaged our planet, and sometimes let our fear guide our actions. But we've also created art that can move the soul, music that can bridge cultural divides, and scientific discoveries that push the boundaries of understanding." He gestured to Xenara. "In the short time I've known Xenara, I've learned more about the universe than I ever thought possible. And isn't that the point of a galactic community? To learn from each other, to grow together?" Aiden turned to face Lucas. "And yes, some of us reacted with fear and aggression to the idea of alien life. But can you blame us, when we were kept in the dark, treated as too dangerous to even speak to?" He addressed the council once more. "I'm not asking you to ignore the potential dangers. I'm asking you to see the potential for good as well. Give humanity a chance to prove itself. Guide us, teach us, but don't shut us out. Because I believe that together, we can achieve things none of us could do alone." As Aiden finished, the chamber remained silent for a long moment. Then, to everyone's surprise, Thraxion Vel began to laugh a deep, resonant sound. "Well spoken, human," Thraxion said. "It seems Xenara's faith in your species was not misplaced." He turned to address the council. "Colleagues, I propose we put it to a vote, not to maintain the quarantine, but to officially welcome humanity into the galactic community, with appropriate safeguards and guidance." As the counselors began to discuss among themselves, Xenara moved to Aiden's side. "That was incredible," she whispered. "You may have just changed the course of galactic history." Aiden smiled nervously. "Let's hope it's a change for the better." As the council prepared to vote, Aiden realized that this was just the beginning. Whether the vote passed or not, humanity's future had irrevocably changed. The stars were no longer distant points of light, but potential new homes and allies. And he, Aiden Cross, once a simple astrophysicist, now stood as humanity's first unofficial ambassador to the stars. The real work of proving humanity's worth was just beginning. The council chamber hummed with tension as the vote was tallied. Aiden's heart raced, acutely aware that the fate of his entire species hung in the balance. Xenara stood beside him, her presence a comforting anchor in this alien environment. Finally, Thraxion Vel raised all four of his arms for silence. "The council has reached a decision," he announced, his voice reverberating through the chamber. "By a narrow margin, we have voted to conditionally welcome humanity into the galactic community." A mixture of cheers and concerned murmurs filled the air. Aiden let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding, relief washing over him. Thraxion continued. "However, this welcome comes with strict conditions. A probationary period will be instated, during which Earth will be closely monitored. Any sign of aggression or misuse of advanced technology will result in immediate quarantine." Aiden nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. It was a chance more than humanity could have hoped for, but also a tremendous responsibility. "Furthermore," Thraxion added, "we will need a liaison, a human representative, to work closely with the Council and facilitate this transition." All eyes in the chamber turned to Aiden. He swallowed hard, suddenly aware of the weight of expectation upon him. I would be honored," Aiden said, his voice steadier than he felt. "But I'm just one person. Shouldn't Earth's governments be involved in this decision?" Xenara stepped forward. "With respect, High Counselor, Aiden is right. While he has proven himself a worthy representative, this decision affects all of humanity. Perhaps a compromise." Thraxion considered this for a moment. "What do you propose, Xenara?" "A small team," she suggested. "Aiden as our primary liaison, but supported by carefully selected individuals from Earth's scientific and diplomatic communities. This would provide a more comprehensive representation of humanity while maintaining the discretion needed during this delicate transition." The council members murmured among themselves, seemingly approving of this idea. Thraxion nodded. "Agreed. Aiden Cross, you will lead this team. Choose your members wisely, they will shape humanity's future in the stars." As the reality of his new role sank in, Aiden's mind raced with possibilities. He thought of Ethan, still back on Earth, possibly in Ekid custody. He thought of the brilliant scientists and diplomats he'd admired from afar. This was his chance to bring together the best of humanity. Lucas Reed, who had been silently fuming throughout the proceedings, suddenly broke free from his guards. "You can't do this," he shouted, lunging towards Aiden. "Humanity needs strength, not compromise." Before anyone could react, Xenara moved with lightning speed, intercepting Lucas and restraining him with surprising strength. "Enough," she said firmly. "Your actions have already jeopardized your species' future. Don't make it worse." Thraxion Vel's eyes narrowed. "Lucas Reed, you and your Ekid colleagues will be detained pending a full investigation into your unauthorized extraterrestrial activities. Your fate will be decided jointly by Earth's governments and the Galactic Council." As Lucas was led away, Aiden turned to Xenara. "What happens now?" She smiled, her galaxy eyes twinkling with excitement. "Now, Aiden, we begin the real work. We need to prepare Earth for the truth. Assemble your team, and start bridging the gap between humanity and the rest of the galaxy." Thraxion approached them. "Xenara, in light of your actions and insights, the Council is appointing you as the official galactic advisor to Earth. You'll work closely with Aiden and his team to ensure a smooth transition." Aiden couldn't help but grin. Despite the enormous challenges ahead, he felt a surge of optimism. This was everything he'd ever dreamed of as a scientist, and so much more. "There's so much to do," he said, his mind already racing with plans. "We need to carefully manage the release of information to prevent panic, establish protocols for technological exchange, create cultural exchange programs." Xenara laid a hand on his shoulder. "One step at a time, Aiden. Remember, you're not alone in this. You have the support of the Council, and soon you'll have your team." As they prepared to return to Earth to begin this monumental task, Aiden took one last look at the Council chamber. He thought of all the humans who had gazed at the stars and dreamed of this moment: first contact, a new era for humanity. Little did they know, it would be an unassuming astrophysicist who would help guide humanity into the cosmic community. The journey ahead would be challenging, filled with diplomatic minefields and technological marvels, but Aiden was ready. The stars were calling, and humanity was finally ready to answer. The return to Earth was a whirlwind of activity and preparation. Aiden, along with Xenara and a small contingent of Galactic Council representatives, materialized in a secure location chosen for its isolation and defensibility. The weight of their mission hung heavy in the air as they prepared for humanity's official introduction to the galactic community. Aiden's first task was to assemble his team. With Xenara's guidance and the Council's resources, he began reaching out to carefully vetted individuals from across the globe. Each candidate was chosen not just for their expertise, but for their open-mindedness and ability to handle the paradigm-shifting truth they were about to learn. Dr. Maya Bennett, the former ECIT operative who had shown signs of doubt in the organization's methods, was among the first to be recruited. Her insider knowledge of Earth's clandestine extraterrestrial activities would prove invaluable. "I always knew there was more to the story," Maya said as Aiden briefed her on the situation. "I'm glad to be on the right side of history this time." As the team grew, so did the complexity of their task. Linguists worked tirelessly to develop translation protocols for the myriad alien languages they would encounter. Diplomats strategized on how to introduce the concept of a galactic community to world leaders without causing panic or power struggles. Meanwhile, Xenara worked closely with Aiden to prepare him for his role as humanity's primary liaison. The hours were long, filled with crash courses in galactic politics, alien biology, and advanced technologies that made Earth's most cutting-edge innovations seem primitive by comparison. "Remember, Aiden," Xenara advised during one of their sessions, "the key is to showcase humanity's potential while acknowledging your limitations. The Council respects growth and learning more than perfection." As the day of the official announcement approached, tension mounted. Security was tight, with both human and alien forces working in tandem to prevent any leaks or interference from rogue elements like what remained of Ekid. The night before the big reveal, Aiden found himself standing alone on a balcony, gazing up at the stars. Each pinpoint of light now held new meaning, new possibilities. "Nervous?" Xenara's melodic voice came from behind him. Aiden turned, offering a weak smile. "Terrified, actually. Tomorrow, everything changes. What if we're not ready?" Xenara joined him at the railing, her iridescent skin shimmering in the starlight. "No species is ever truly ready for this moment, Aiden. But from what I've seen of humanity of you, I believe you'll rise to the challenge." As dawn broke, Aiden stood before a gathering of world leaders, scientists, and carefully selected media representatives. Cameras broadcasted the event globally, ready to share the most important announcement in human history. Taking a deep breath, Aiden began. "People of Earth, I stand before you today with news that will forever change our understanding of our place in the universe. We are not alone." As he spoke, holographic displays came to life, showing images of alien worlds, advanced spacecraft, and the diverse beings that made up the Galactic Council. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the audience. "For centuries, we've looked to the stars and wondered. Today, we take our first steps into a larger community. It won't be easy. There will be challenges, misunderstandings, and moments of doubt. But there will also be wonders beyond our wildest dreams, knowledge that will propel our civilization forward, and friendships that span light years. Aiden gestured to Xenara and the other alien representatives. We have been given an incredible opportunity. The Galactic Council has voted to welcome humanity conditionally into their ranks. Our actions in the coming years will determine our place among the stars. As questions poured in from the audience, Aiden felt a sense of calm settle over him. This was just the beginning. There would be struggles ahead, diplomatic incidents to navigate, technological hurdles to overcome, and the monumental task of preparing Earth's population for life as part of a galactic civilization. But as he looked out at the sea of faces, seeing hope, fear, and wonder in equal measure, Aiden knew that humanity was up to the challenge. They had taken their first steps into a vast, complex universe, and there was no turning back. The stars, once distant and unreachable, now beckoned with infinite possibilities. Humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning, and Aiden Cross, once a simple astrophysicist, now stood at the forefront of this cosmic journey. As the conference concluded and the world began to grapple with this new reality, Aiden turned to Xenara. So, what's next? She smiled, her galaxy eyes twinkling with excitement. Now, Aiden, we show the universe what humanity is truly capable of. Together, human and alien, they faced the dawn of a new era. The universe watched, waiting to see if humanity would rise to the occasion or falter under the weight of cosmic responsibility. But for Aiden and his team, failure was not an option. The future of Earth and its place among the stars depended on their success. And so, with hope in their hearts and stars in their eyes, they took their first steps into a larger, more wondrous universe than they had ever imagined. Aiden Cross stood at the viewport of the Starweaver, gazing out at the swirling nebula before him. 5 years had passed since humanity's introduction to the galactic community, and the view still took his breath away. Magnificent, isn't it? Xenara's melodic voice came from behind him. The Whirlpool Nebula, home to over 1,000 sentient species. Aiden turned, smiling at his alien friend and mentor. It never gets old. Sometimes I still can't believe we're out here, part of all this. Xenara's iridescent skin shimmered with amusement. You've come a long way from that nervous astrophysicist I met on Earth. The Galactic Council speaks highly of your diplomatic skills. Before Aiden could respond, an urgent alert sounded throughout the ship. Ambassador Cross to the bridge immediately, the Eye's voice announced. Exchanging concerned glances, Aiden and Xenara hurried to the command center. The bridge was a flurry of activity, with both human and alien crew members working in perfect synchronization. Captain Ethan Grayson, Aiden's old friend who had joined him on this cosmic journey, looked up from the main console. His face was grim. Aiden, we've got a situation. The Council just sent an emergency transmission. What's happened? Aiden asked, feeling a knot form in his stomach. Ethan activated a holographic display, showing a star system Aiden didn't recognize. Long-range scans have detected an anomaly in the Zeta Reticuli system. It's unlike anything we've ever seen. The display zoomed in on a massive structure floating in space. It defied description, its geometry seeming to shift and change as they watched. Xenara gasped. By the cosmic winds, it can't be. What is it? Aiden pressed, sensing the gravity of the situation. If I'm not mistaken, Xenara said, her voice hushed with awe, that's a Nexus Forge, a creation of the Quantum Architects. Aiden's mind raced. The Quantum Architects were a legendary race, said to have possessed technology capable of reshaping reality itself. They had vanished eons ago, leaving behind only myths and scattered artifacts. The Council is calling an emergency session, Ethan continued. They're requesting your presence immediately, Aiden. Apparently, this discovery has thrown the entire galactic community into chaos. Multiple factions are already mobilizing to claim the Nexus Forge. Aiden felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He knew that humanity's standing in the galactic community was still precarious. How they handled this crisis could determine Earth's fate for generations to come. "Set a course for the council chambers," Aiden ordered, his voice steady despite the turmoil in his mind. "And send word to Earth. We need to assemble a team, our best scientists, strategists, and explorers. Whatever this Nexus Forge is, we can't let it fall into the wrong hands." As the Starweaver prepared for faster-than-light travel, Aiden couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the brink of something monumental. The discovery of the Nexus Forge could usher in a new era of peace and prosperity for the galaxy, or plunge it into a war that would make their previous conflicts look like mere skirmishes. One thing was certain: humanity was about to face its greatest test yet. And Aiden Cross, once a simple astrophysicist, now stood at the center of a cosmic crucible that would determine the fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. As the stars blurred around them, Aiden steeled himself for the challenges ahead. The true measure of humanity was about to be taken, and he was determined to prove that they deserved their place among the stars. The Galactic Council chambers were in an uproar as Aiden and Xenara arrived. Representatives from hundreds of worlds argued vehemently, their voices a cacophony of alien languages. High Counselor Thraxion Vel raised all four of his arms for silence. "Order! We must have order!" As the chamber quieted, Thraxion's gaze fell on Aiden. "Ambassador Cross, thank you for coming so quickly. The situation is volatile." Aiden stepped forward, acutely aware of the countless alien eyes upon him. "High Counselor, esteemed members of the Council, I understand the gravity of this discovery. Earth stands ready to assist in any way we can." A harsh laugh cut through the air. Vorlax Drune, the Vornaxian representative who had long been skeptical of humanity, sneered. "Assist? What could your primitive species possibly offer in this matter?" Aiden met Vorlax's compound eyes steadily. "With all due respect, Counselor Drune, humanity has proven its worth time and again over the past 5 years. Our adaptability and unique perspective have been assets to this council." Thraxion nodded. "Indeed. Which is why we've called you here, Ambassador Cross. The council proposes that Earth lead an expedition to secure the Nexus Forge." A chorus of protest erupted, but Thraxion silenced them with a gesture. This decision was not made lightly. The Nexus Forge is too powerful to entrust to any single established faction. Earth, as a relative newcomer to the galactic stage, presents a neutral option. Aiden's mind raced. This was an incredible opportunity, but also a monumental risk. "High Counselor, we're honored by your trust. But what exactly is the Nexus Forge, and what are we securing it from?" Xenara stepped forward. "The Nexus Forge is a relic of the quantum architects, a race that could manipulate the very fabric of reality. Legends say it can reshape entire star systems, even alter the laws of physics within its influence. Which is precisely why it cannot fall into the wrong hands," Thraxion added gravely. "Already, we've detected ships from various factions converging on the Zeta Reticuli system. Some seek to study the Forge, others to weaponize it, and some—" He paused, his bioluminescent patterns pulsing with concern. "Some wish to destroy it, fearing its power." Aiden absorbed this information, understanding the magnitude of what was being asked of Earth. "We'll need to assemble a team, not just humans, but representatives from other worlds, a joint effort to show that we can work together." Thraxion nodded approvingly. "A wise suggestion. You have the Council's authority to select your team as you see fit. But be warned, Ambassador Cross. This mission will test not just your skills, but your ethics. The power of the Nexus Forge may prove tempting." As the council session adjourned, Aiden felt the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. He turned to Xenara. "We need to move fast. Can you contact Dr. Maya Bennett? We'll need her expertise in xenotechnology." Xenara nodded. "I'll send word immediately. What's our next move?" Aiden's eyes hardened with determination. "We gather the best team this galaxy has to offer. Then we race to the Nexus Forge and pray we're not too late." As they left the council chambers, Neither Aiden nor Xenara noticed the shadowy figure watching them from a hidden alcove. The figure activated a secure comm channel. The humans took the bait. Proceed with Phase 2. The race for the Nexus Forge had begun, and with it, a game of galactic chess where the stakes were nothing less than the fate of reality itself. Humanity was about to be thrust into the center of a cosmic conflict that would determine their place in the universe once and for all. The Starweaver hummed with activity as Aiden's hastily assembled team prepared for their mission. Dr. Maya Bennett, now Earth's leading expert in xenotechnology, pored over holographic schematics of the Zeta Reticuli system. "The energy readings from the Nexus Forge are off the charts," Maya muttered, her brow furrowed in concentration. "It's like nothing we've ever encountered." Aiden nodded, studying the assembled team. Besides Maya, he had recruited Xylox Quar, a gelatin being whose fluid form and unparalleled problem-solving skills would be invaluable. Calther Vexus, a towering Thraxian warrior, stood silently in the corner, his 4 eyes constantly scanning for potential threats. "What's our ETA?" Aiden asked, turning to Ethan at the ship's controls. "We'll reach Zeta Reticuli in approximately 12 hours, Ethan replied. "But Aiden, we're picking up multiple ships converging on the system. It's going to be crowded when we arrive." Xenara, who had been deep in meditation, opened her galaxy eyes. "We may have another problem. I've been sensing disturbances in the cosmic fabric. The Nexus Forge's activation is having far-reaching effects." As if to underscore her point, the ship suddenly shuddered violently. Alarms blared as the crew struggled to maintain their footing. "What was that?" Aiden shouted over the din. Ethan's fingers flew over the controls. "Some kind of spatial anomaly. It's like reality itself is fluctuating around us." Calther Vexus spoke for the first time, his deep voice resonating through the bridge. "The legends speak of this. The awakening of a Nexus Forge can cause ripples in the very fabric of space-time." Aiden's mind raced. If merely approaching the Forge was causing these disturbances, what would happen when they actually reached it? "We need to stabilize our approach," he decided. "Maya, work with Xylox to modify our shields. See if you can create some kind of buffer against these anomalies." As the scientists set to work, Aiden pulled Xenara aside. "There's something you're not telling me," he said quietly. "What is it?" Xenara's skin rippled with concern. "Aiden, the quantum architects didn't just disappear. According to some legends, they were opposed by a force known as the Void Walkers." "Void Walkers?" Aiden repeated, a chill running down his spine. "A mysterious race that exists in the spaces between realities," Xenara explained. "They believed the quantum architect's manipulation of reality was dangerous, unnatural. If the legends are true, and the Nexus Forge is activating, then we might be flying into the middle of an ancient conflict," Aiden finished grimly. Before they could discuss further, Maya called out excitedly, "I think we've got it. A phase-shifted quantum barrier. It should help stabilize our passage through these anomalies." As the new shielding came online, the ship's violent shaking subsided, but Aiden couldn't shake the feeling that they were heading into something far more complex and dangerous than they had initially believed. "All hands, prepare for faster-than-light jump," Ethan announced. "Next stop, Zeta Reticuli." As the stars blurred around them, Aiden steeled himself for what lay ahead. They were racing not just against other factions, but potentially against forces beyond their comprehension. The true nature of the Nexus Forge, the intentions of the Void Walkers, and the fate of the galaxy all hung in the balance. And at the center of it all stood humanity, represented by this diverse crew, about to face a trial that would determine their worthiness to wield power that could reshape reality itself. Aiden only hoped they were up to the challenge. The Starweaver dropped out of faster-than-light travel with a shudder, the vast expanse of the Zeta Reticuli system materializing before them. Aiden's breath caught in his throat as he beheld the Nexus Forge for the first time with his own eyes. It was a structure that defied comprehension, a massive geometric anomaly that seemed to fold in on itself in impossible ways. Energy pulses rippled across its surface, distorting the very space around it. "By the cosmic winds," Xenara whispered, her voice filled with awe. But they weren't alone. The space around the forge was crowded with ships of various designs and sizes, representing factions from across the galaxy. "I'm detecting weapons being charged," Ethan reported grimly. "Looks like we're late to a very tense party." Aiden's mind raced. They needed to act fast, but any wrong move could spark an interstellar conflict. "Open a channel to all ships," he commanded. As Ethan complied, Aiden took a deep breath. "This is Ambassador Aiden Cross of Earth, representing the Galactic Council. We are here on a peaceful mission to secure and study the Nexus Forge. I urge all parties to stand down and—" His words were cut short as a massive energy beam lanced out from one of the alien ships, striking another vessel. In an instant, chaos erupted. "Evasive maneuvers," Aiden shouted as energy weapons crisscrossed the space around them. Ethan's hands flew over the controls, the Starweaver dancing between beams of destructive energy. "We can't stay here," he growled. "We'll be torn apart." "The forge," Maya interjected, her eyes fixed on her readings. "Its energy output is spiking. I think all this weapon's fire is affecting it somehow." As if in response to her words, the Nexus Forge pulsed, sending out a shock wave that rippled through space. Ships caught in its path spun out of control, their systems overloaded. "We need to get closer," Aiden decided. "Maya, can you find us a safe approach vector?" Maya's fingers danced over her console. "There's a gap in the energy field. But Aiden, it's going to be tight. And we have no idea what will happen when we breach the forge's immediate vicinity." Calther Vexus stepped forward, his warrior's instincts kicking in. "I can man the defensive systems. Give us a fighting chance if anyone tries to stop us." Aiden nodded gratefully. "Do it. Ethan, take us in. Xylox, I need you to monitor the ship's structural integrity. If anything starts to go wrong, sing out immediately." As the Starweaver began its approach, the scene outside the viewscreen became increasingly surreal. Space itself seemed to bend and warp around the Nexus Forge, and Aiden could have sworn he saw ghostly shapes flitting at the edge of his vision. "Aiden," Xenara said urgently, her eyes wide. "I can sense something. Consciousnesses, vast and alien. I think the Forge is awakening." Suddenly, a new ship materialized directly in their path. It was unlike anything Aiden had ever seen, its hull seeming to absorb light rather than reflect it. "Void Walkers," Xenara breathed. A voice, if it could be called that, reverberated through their minds. "Humans, you meddle with forces beyond your comprehension. Turn back or face oblivion." Aiden stood firm, despite the fear coursing through him. "We can't do that. The Forge's power could destroy the galaxy if it falls into the wrong hands. We're here on behalf of all sentient life." There was a pause, and Aiden could feel the weight of an alien intelligence evaluating him. Then, to everyone's shock, the Void Walker ship moved aside. "Proceed," the voice echoed in their minds. "But be warned. The trial ahead will test the very essence of your species. Fail, and reality itself may unravel." As the Starweaver passed the Void Walker ship, Aiden felt a mix of relief and trepidation. They had passed one test, but he knew the true challenges lay ahead. The fate of not just humanity, but all of existence, now rested on their shoulders. With a determined nod to his crew, Aiden gave the order. "Take us in, Ethan. It's time to face our cosmic crucible." The Starweaver plunged towards the heart of the Nexus Forge, ready to confront whatever reality-bending trials awaited them. As the Starweaver penetrated the outer energy field of the Nexus Forge, reality itself seemed to warp around them. The ship's interior flickered, alternating between its familiar configuration and bizarre, impossible geometries. "Structural integrity at 72% and fluctuating," Xylox reported, his gelatinous form rippling with agitation. "The laws of physics are becoming unreliable." Aiden gripped the command console, fighting a wave of vertigo. Stay focused, everyone. Maya, any luck interfacing with the Forge's systems? Maya's fingers danced over her holographic display, her face a mask of concentration. It's like nothing I've ever seen. The code, if you can call it that, is constantly shifting. It's less like programming and more like a living language. Suddenly, a blinding light filled the bridge. When it faded, Aiden found himself alone in a vast, white void. Or was he? As he looked closer, he could see his crew members, each isolated in their own pocket of non-space. A voice, both everywhere and nowhere, resonated through the void. Beings of flesh and time, you seek that which can unmake and remake existence. But are you worthy? Do you comprehend the weight of such power? Aiden steeled himself, realizing this must be some kind of test or interface with the Forge itself. We don't seek to wield the power ourselves, he responded. We're here to ensure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands, to protect the galaxy. Noble words, the voice replied, a hint of amusement in its tone. But intentions are not enough. You must prove your worth, your understanding. Each of you will face a trial, tailored to your deepest fears and greatest weaknesses. Only by overcoming yourselves can you hope to be entrusted with the power to shape reality. Before Aiden could respond, the white void around him shimmered and transformed. He found himself back on Earth, in the observatory where his journey had begun years ago. But something was wrong. The sky was filled with alien ships, raining destruction upon the planet. This is your failure, Aiden Cross, the voice whispered. The consequence of humanity reaching too far, too fast. Was it worth it? All this knowledge, this power, at the cost of your homeworld? Aiden watched in horror as familiar landmarks crumbled, as people he knew ran in terror from otherworldly horrors. Every fiber of his being screamed that this was wrong, that he had failed in his mission to protect Earth. But then, a moment of clarity cut through his despair. This wasn't real. It was a test, a manifestation of his deepest fears. No, Aiden said firmly, facing the illusory destruction. This isn't our future. Humanity has proven itself time and again. We've made allies, contributed to the galactic community. This is nothing but a fear, a possibility we work every day to prevent. As he spoke, the illusion began to waver. Aiden pressed on, his voice growing stronger. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. But we learn, we adapt, and we strive to be better. That's the true strength of humanity. The scene before him shattered like glass, and Aiden found himself back in the white void. He could sense his crew members around him, each facing their own trials. Xenara grappled with the weight of betraying her people's isolationist policies. Maya confronted her guilt over her time with Ekid. Ethan faced the cosmic horrors that had haunted his nightmares since first contact. Calther Vexus wrestled with his species' violent past, while Xylox confronted the fear of losing his individual identity to a collective consciousness. One by one, they overcame their trials, their shared humanity and diverse perspectives allowing them to see through the illusions. As the last trial concluded, the voice spoke again, this time with a note of respect. You have faced yourselves and emerged stronger. But the true test is yet to come. Are you prepared to shoulder the burden of cosmic power? The void dissolved, and the crew found themselves in the heart of the Nexus Forge. Before them hovered a pulsing orb of energy, the source of the Forge's reality-altering power. Aiden looked at his crew, seeing the determination in their eyes. They had come this far together, faced their deepest fears. Whatever came next, they would face it as one. We're ready, Aiden declared, reaching out towards the orb. Not to wield the power, but to ensure it's used responsibly, for the good of all sentient life. As his hand touched the energy, the Nexus Forge hummed to life, and Aiden felt the weight of infinite possibilities coursing through him. The true test was about to begin. The moment Aiden's hand made contact with the pulsing orb, a surge of cosmic energy coursed through him. His consciousness expanded, encompassing not just the Nexus Forge, but the entire galaxy and beyond. In an instant, he could see the intricate web of cause and effect that bound all of existence together. By the stars, he gasped, his voice echoing with newfound power. The rest of the crew watched in awe as Aiden's form shimmered, becoming translucent and suffused with starlight. Xenara stepped forward, her galaxy eyes wide with wonder and concern. "Aiden," she called out, "are you all right?" Aiden turned to face his friends, and they could see the universe reflected in his eyes. "I can see everything," he said, his voice overlaid with harmonics that seemed to resonate with the fabric of space-time itself. "The past, the present, all possible futures, it's overwhelming." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the forge. Maya rushed to a console, her fingers flying over the alien controls. "The forge's energy output is spiking. Something's wrong." Outside, the space battle that had been raging came to an abrupt halt as every ship in the vicinity was caught in a temporal stasis field. The Void Walker vessel shimmered into view, its imposing form a dark silhouette against the star-studded backdrop. The same otherworldly voice that had spoken to them earlier now boomed through the forge. "Human, you stand at a crossroads. The power you now wield can reshape the very foundations of reality. But be warned, with every action, there are consequences beyond your comprehension." Aiden nodded, feeling the weight of infinite possibilities pressing down on him. He could see branching timelines spiraling out from this moment, each decision leading to vastly different futures. "I understand," he said, his voice steady despite the cosmic energies surging through him. "What must I do?" "Choose," the voice replied simply. "Reshape reality as you see fit, or relinquish the power. But know that either choice will have far-reaching consequences." Aiden's mind raced. He could see futures where humanity ascended to godlike status, reshaping the galaxy in their image. He saw others where the power corrupted them, leading to tyranny and suffering on an unimaginable scale. And he saw futures where they walked away, leaving the fate of the cosmos to chance. "Aiden," Ethan called out, his voice cutting through the visions of possible futures. "Whatever you decide, we trust you. You've led us this far." Calther Vexus nodded his massive head in agreement. "You have proven your worth, human. Your species has faced every challenge with courage and wisdom." Xylox's gelatinous form pulsed with supportive bioluminescence, while Maya gave a thumbs up, her face a mix of fear and faith. Xenara stepped closer, her hand hovering near Aiden's shimmering form. "Remember who you are, Aiden. Remember why we came here." Her words cut through the cosmic noise filling Aiden's mind. Yes, he remembered. They came not to wield power, but to protect, to ensure that no single faction could reshape reality on a whim. With a deep breath, Aiden made his decision. He reached out with his newfound power, not to reshape reality, but to do something far more challenging, to lock it away. "I choose balance," he declared, his voice reverberating through space-time. "The power of the Nexus Forge is too great for any one being or species to control. Instead, I will seal it, create a cosmic lock that can only be opened when all sentient races stand united in purpose." As he spoke, the energy of the forge began to coalesce, forming intricate patterns in space. Aiden could feel the approval of the Void Walkers, the awe of the watching alien factions, and the pride of his own crew. "It is done," Aiden said, feeling the cosmic power begin to ebb from his body. "The Nexus Forge is sealed, its power waiting for a day when the galaxy is truly ready for it." As the last of the energy left him, Aiden collapsed, caught by Xenara and Ethan. The forge around them began to power down, its reality warping effects fading. The voice of the Void Walkers spoke one last time. "You have chosen wisely, humans. You have proven yourselves worthy custodians of the cosmic balance. The galaxy will remember this day." As the Starweaver's crew regrouped, still processing the monumental events they had just experienced, they knew that their journey was far from over. They had passed a crucial test, but the real work of uniting the galaxy and preparing for the day when the forge might be needed was just beginning. Aiden, supported by his friends, looked out at the stars with new eyes. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger, more wondrous, and more dangerous cosmos than they had ever imagined. And he, once a simple astrophysicist, now stood as a symbol of humanity's potential, their cosmic crucible overcome. The universe watched, waiting to see what this young species would do next. The journey back to Earth was subdued, each member of the Starweaver's crew lost in thought about the monumental events they had just experienced. Aiden, still weak from his encounter with the Nexus Forge's power, spent much of the time in quiet contemplation. As they approached the familiar blue marble of their home planet, Ethan broke the silence. "So, what do we tell them? The Council, Earth's governments, everyone's going to want answers." Aiden sighed, running a hand through his hair. "The truth? Or at least, as much of it as we can explain. The galaxy needs to know what happened out there." The Starweaver docked at the newly constructed orbital station, a symbol of Earth's growing presence in galactic affairs. As they disembarked, they were met by a delegation led by High Counselor Thraxion Vel himself. Ambassador Cross, Thraxion greeted, his forearms performing a complex gesture of respect. "The Council awaits your report with great anticipation. There have been disturbances felt across the galaxy." Aiden nodded gravely. "High Counselor, what we experienced goes beyond anything we could have imagined. The Nexus Forge, the Void Walkers, the very fabric of reality was at stake." As they made their way to the station's conference room, Aiden could feel the weight of expectation from every alien and human they passed. News of their mission had spread, and the galaxy was holding its breath. The conference room was packed with representatives from dozens of worlds, their diverse forms a testament to the vastness of galactic civilization. Aiden took his place at the podium, his crew arrayed behind him in a show of unity. Esteemed members of the Galactic Council, representatives of Earth, and allies from across the stars, Aiden began, his voice steady despite his fatigue. "The mission to the Nexus Forge has concluded, but our journey as a galactic community is just beginning." Over the next hour, Aiden recounted their experiences, from the space battle to the trials within the Forge, and finally, the momentous decision to seal away its power. He could see the shock, awe, and in some cases, disappointment on the faces of those assembled. "In sealing the Forge," Aiden concluded, "we have not denied its power to the galaxy, but rather entrusted it to our collective future. When we are ready, when we have truly united as one galactic civilization, the Forge will be there, waiting." The room erupted in a cacophony of voices, questions, and exclamations in 100 different languages. Thraxion raised his arms for silence. "Ambassador Cross," the High Counselor said, his voice filled with a mix of awe and concern, "you have shouldered an immense responsibility on behalf of all sentient life. The Council will need time to deliberate on the implications of your actions." Vorlax Drune, the Vornaxian representative who had long been skeptical of humanity, spoke up. "How can we be sure this power is truly contained? And what gives humanity the right to make such a decision for all of us?" Aiden met Vorlax's compound eyes steadily. "The decision was not humanity's alone. The Forge itself, and the Void Walkers, tested us all. The seal on the Forge's power can only be broken when all sentient races stand united. It's not a lock that any one species holds the key to, but a challenge for us all to rise to together." As the debate raged on, Aiden could see the shifting alliances and perspectives in the room. Some saw the sealing of the Forge as a loss of a powerful weapon or tool. Others recognized the wisdom in preventing any one faction from wielding such cosmic power. Hours later, as the session adjourned, Aiden found himself approached by a group of alien representatives he didn't recognize. Their forms were as diverse as they were strange, but they all shared a look of determination. "Ambassador Cross," one of them said, its voice a melodious trill, "we represent worlds that have long stood apart from galactic politics. But your actions at the Forge have shown us that perhaps it is time to engage more fully with the galactic community." Aiden felt a surge of hope. This was exactly the kind of unity the Forge's seal was meant to inspire. "We would be honored to welcome you," he said, bowing slightly. As news of the Nexus Forge's sealing spread across the galaxy, Aiden knew that they had set in motion events that would shape the future of all sentient life. The true test was just beginning. Could the myriad races of the galaxy learn to work together, to prepare for a day when they might be worthy of unlocking the Forge's power? As he looked out at the stars from the orbital station, Aiden felt a mix of trepidation and excitement. Humanity had proven itself on a cosmic scale, but their greatest challenges and adventures still lay ahead. The galaxy watched, waited, and began to change. The cosmic crucible had only just begun. In the months following the Nexus Forge incident, Earth found itself at the center of a galactic renaissance. The decision to seal the Forge had sparked a wave of diplomatic initiatives and collaborative projects across the galaxy. Aiden, now hailed as a cosmic peacemaker, found himself busier than ever. Today, he stood in the newly constructed Galactic Unity Center in Geneva, preparing to address a diverse assembly of alien and human scientists, diplomats, and leaders. "You ready for this?" Ethan asked, adjusting Aiden's formal attire. Aiden took a deep breath. "As ready as I'll ever be. Who would have thought sealing away ultimate power would create so much paperwork?" They shared a chuckle, the humor a thin veneer over the weight of responsibility they both felt. As Aiden stepped onto the stage, he was struck by the sight before him. Beings from across the galaxy, once divided by fear and mistrust, now sat side by side, united in purpose. "Distinguished guests," Aiden began, his voice carrying across the vast auditorium. "A year ago, we stood at a crossroads. The Nexus Forge offered us power beyond imagination, but also the potential for unimaginable destruction. In choosing to seal that power, we chose a harder path, but a worthier one." He paused, looking out at the sea of alien faces. "Today, we embark on the greatest collaborative effort in galactic history. Project Cosmic Harmony isn't just about preparing to one day unlock the Forge. It's about proving that we can overcome our differences, that we can build a future worthy of such power." As Aiden outlined the initiatives ranging from shared scientific research to cultural exchange programs, the energy in the room was palpable. Even Vorlax Droon, seated in the front row, seemed grudgingly impressed. But not everyone was pleased with this new era of cooperation. As the assembly broke for recess, Aiden was approached by a hooded figure. "Ambassador Cross," the figure spoke in a low, modulated voice. "A word in private?" Instinct told Aiden to be cautious, but curiosity won out. He followed the figure to a secluded alcove. The stranger lowered their hood, revealing a face that seemed to shift and change, never settling on a single form. "I represent a group concerned with the balance of power in the galaxy. Your actions with the Forge have disrupted certain plans." Aiden's guard went up immediately. And what plans would those be? "There are those who believe that true progress comes from conflict, from the strong rising above the weak," the figure explained. "This new era of cooperation threatens to stagnate the natural order." "Natural order?" Aiden scoffed. "There's nothing natural about endless conflict. We're evolving beyond that." The figure's eyes narrowed. "Perhaps. But be warned, Ambassador. Not everyone shares your optimistic view. There are forces at work that would see your precious unity shattered." Before Aiden could respond, the figure seemed to melt into the shadows, leaving him alone with a sense of unease. Returning to the main hall, Aiden sought out Xenara. "We may have a problem," he whispered, recounting the strange encounter. Xenara's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with concern. "I've heard whispers of a group calling themselves the Cosmic Darwinists. They believe that only through conflict and domination can the galaxy truly advance." Aiden's mind raced. Just when it seemed they were making real progress, a new threat emerges. "We need to inform the Council, increase security, but quietly we can't risk causing a panic." As they moved to alert key allies, Aiden couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The galactic renaissance they had worked so hard to foster was under threat, and once again, humanity found itself at the center of a cosmic storm. Looking out at the assembled representatives of a hopeful galaxy, Aiden steeled himself for the challenges ahead. They had overcome the trial of the Nexus Forge, but it seemed their true cosmic crucible was just beginning. The unity they had built was fragile, but precious, and Aiden was determined to protect it, no matter the cost. As he prepared to retake the stage, he knew that the next chapter in humanity's cosmic journey would test them in ways they had never imagined. The galaxy held its breath, poised between a future of unprecedented cooperation and the looming shadow of those who would see it all burn in the name of their twisted ideology. The weeks following the ominous warning at the Galactic Unity Center were tense. Aiden and his team worked tirelessly, balancing the need for increased security with the importance of maintaining the fragile trust they had built among the various alien races. One evening, as Aiden pored over intelligence reports in his office aboard the orbital station, an urgent message came through from Maya. "Aiden, you need to see this." Maya's holographic form flickered to life, her expression grave. "We've detected unusual energy signatures in the Horsehead Nebula. They're similar to the Nexus Forge, but not quite the same." Aiden's heart raced. "Similar how? Could it be another forge?" Maya shook her head. "Not exactly. It's like someone's trying to replicate the Forge's technology, but on a smaller scale." "The cosmic Darwinists," Aiden muttered. "They're trying to create their own reality-altering device." Within hours, the Starweaver was prepped for launch. As the crew assembled on the bridge, Aiden couldn't help but feel a sense of déjà vu. Once again, they were racing against time to prevent cosmic power from falling into the wrong hands. "Set a course for the Horsehead Nebula, maximum speed," Aiden ordered as he strapped into the command chair. As they journeyed through the vastness of space, Xenara approached Aiden, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with concern. "Aiden, there's something you should know about the Horsehead Nebula. It's not a natural formation." Aiden raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "According to ancient Catharian legends, the Horsehead Nebula was created by the quantum architects as a testing ground for their reality-altering experiments," Xenara explained. "If the cosmic Darwinists have found a way to tap into that residual energy..." The implications were staggering. Aiden called the crew together for a briefing, sharing Xenara's information and Maya's findings. "So we're potentially walking into a trap," Ethan said, voicing what everyone was thinking. Calther Vexus, the Thraxian warrior, rumbled in agreement. "We must approach with extreme caution. The cosmic Darwinists will not give up their prize easily." As they neared the nebula, the sensors began to go haywire. Strange energy patterns danced across the screens, defying known laws of physics. "I'm detecting multiple ships ahead," Xylox reported, his gelatinous form rippling with agitation. "Their configurations match no known designs in our database." Suddenly, a massive structure shimmered into view at the heart of the nebula. It was like a twisted, dark mirror of the Nexus Forge, its geometry painful to look at. "By the cosmic winds," Xenara gasped. "They've actually done it. They've created a chaos forge." Before Aiden could respond, a transmission cut through their communications. A familiar voice, the same modulated tones from the hooded figure at the Unity Center, filled the bridge. "Ambassador Cross, how kind of you to join us," the voice dripped with sarcasm. "You're just in time to witness the dawn of a new galactic order. One where the strong thrive and the weak, well, they serve their purpose." Aiden's mind raced, trying to formulate a response that wouldn't provoke immediate hostilities. "You don't have to do this," he said, keeping his voice calm. "Whatever power you think you've harnessed, it's not worth the risk to the entire galaxy." A chilling laugh was the only response. Suddenly, beams of dark energy lanced out from the Chaos Forge, narrowly missing the Starweaver. "Evasive maneuvers," Aiden shouted as all hell broke loose. The space around them warped and twisted, reality itself seeming to fray at the edges. As Ethan piloted the ship through the chaos, Aiden realized they were facing a threat unlike anything they had encountered before. This wasn't just a battle for control of a powerful artifact. It was a fight for the very nature of galactic civilization. The cosmic Darwinists sought to plunge the galaxy into an era of endless conflict, believing it would drive evolution and progress. As energy beams crisscrossed space and ships engaged in a deadly dance, Aiden knew they needed a plan. Fast. The fate of the galaxy once again hung in the balance, and humanity's resolve was about to be tested like never before. Maya, Xylox, Aiden called out, an idea forming. Is there any way we can use what we learned from the Nexus Forge to counteract this Chaos Forge? As his team scrambled to find a solution, Aiden steeled himself for the battle ahead. They had come too far, worked too hard for unity, to let it all be undone by those who would see the galaxy burn. The true cosmic crucible was upon them, and failure was not an option. The battle raged around the Starweaver, reality itself twisting and warping under the influence of the Chaos Forge. Aiden watched as allied ships from various galactic factions arrived, answering their distress call. It was a testament to the unity they had built, but would it be enough? Maya, talk to me, Aiden called out over the chaos of the bridge. Any progress on countering the Forge's effects? Maya's fingers flew over her console, her face a mask of concentration. I think I've got something. The Chaos Forge is using principles similar to the Nexus Forge, but inverted, if we can generate a harmonic resonance field. Do it, Aiden ordered. Ethan, get us as close to that thing as you can. Calther, I need you on weapons. Target any ships trying to stop us. As the Starweaver dove towards the heart of the conflict, Aiden opened a channel to their allies. All ships, this is Ambassador Cross. We have a plan to neutralize the Chaos Forge, but we need cover. Keep those cosmic Darwinist ships off our backs. The response was immediate. Ships from a dozen different species moved to intercept the enemy, creating a corridor for the Starweaver's approach. Aiden, Xenara's voice was tense. I'm sensing something. The Void Walkers, they're here. As if on cue, the imposing form of a Void Walker ship shimmered into existence beside them. The same otherworldly voice that had spoken to them at the Nexus Forge filled their minds. Humans. Once again, you stand at the precipice of cosmic calamity. We will assist you, but know this, should you fail, we will have no choice but to enact our final contingency. The galaxy itself will be quarantined to prevent the spread of chaos. Aiden's blood ran cold at the implications, but he steeled himself. Understood. Let's make sure it doesn't come to that. As they neared the Chaos Forge, its defenses intensified. Reality buckled around them, alternating between different possible timelines. Aiden saw visions of worlds burning, of civilizations rising and falling in the blink of an eye. Maya, now, he shouted as they came within range. Maya activated the harmonic resonance field. A wave of energy pulsed from the Starweaver, colliding with the chaotic emissions of the Forge. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a sound that seemed to shake the very fabric of space-time, the Chaos Forge's energy began to destabilize. It's working, Xylox exclaimed, his gelatinous form rippling with excitement. The Forge's power output is fluctuating. But their victory was short-lived. A massive cosmic Darwinist ship broke through the Allied defenses, bearing down on the Starweaver. Brace for impact, Ethan yelled. The collision was devastating. Alarms blared as systems failed across the ship. Aiden picked himself up from the floor, tasting blood. Status report, he called out. Hull breach on decks 3 through 5, Calther reported grimly. Weapon systems offline. The harmonic field generator is damaged. Aiden's mind raced. They were so close, but without the generator, they couldn't finish neutralizing the Forge. Then an idea struck him. Xenara, he turned to his alien friend. The trials we faced at the Nexus Forge, they were about proving our worth, our understanding. What if we could use that same principle here? Xenara's eyes widened in understanding. A cosmic appeal. Yes, it could work. But Aiden, it would require directly interfacing with the Chaos Forge. The risk is one I have to take, Aiden finished. He turned to his crew, his family among the stars. Keep them off me. I'm going in." Before anyone could protest, Aiden made his way to the airlock. With a deep breath, he stepped out into the chaotic void of space, the Chaos Forge looming before him. As he floated towards the massive structure, Aiden focused his mind, reaching out with every fiber of his being. He thought of Earth, of the friends he'd made across the galaxy, of the unity they'd fought so hard to build. "I am Aiden Cross," he projected his thoughts into the cosmic maelstrom. "I speak for humanity, for all those who seek peace and understanding in this vast universe. We reject your vision of endless conflict. We choose unity, growth, and the collective advancement of all sentient life." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the Chaos Forge pulsed, and Aiden felt a vast, alien consciousness touch his mind. Images flooded his awareness. The birth of stars, the rise and fall of civilizations, the intricate web of cause and effect that bound all of existence together. He saw the cosmic Darwinist's vision of a galaxy forged in conflict, but also the infinite potential for creation and cooperation that they had overlooked. With every ounce of his will, Aiden pushed back against the chaos, projecting the hope and unity that humanity had come to represent. He felt others joining him, the Void Walkers, his crew, allies from across the galaxy, all lending their strength to his appeal. With a soundless explosion that rippled across space-time, the Chaos Forge went dark. Its twisted geometry began to unravel, the threat it posed to the galaxy fading away. As Aiden felt himself slipping into unconsciousness, his last thought was of hope. They had faced their cosmic crucible and emerged stronger, more united than ever before. The galaxy would remember this day, not as a victory of one species over another, but as the moment when all sentient life chose to stand together against the forces of chaos and division. As the stars wheeled overhead and rescue ships approached, Aiden Cross drifted in the void, a symbol of humanity's potential and the bright future that awaited them all among the stars. The cosmic crucible was over. The real work of building a united galaxy was just beginning. Aiden Cross stood at the observation deck of the Galactic Unity Station, his eyes fixed on the swirling cosmic dance beyond. A decade had passed since the Chaos Forge incident, and the view still filled him with awe and a touch of unease. "Ambassador Cross," a voice called from behind. Aiden turned to see Xylox, his gelatinous form shimmering with excitement. "The council is assembled. They're waiting for your report on the Fringe Worlds integration project." Aiden nodded, straightening his formal attire. "Thank you, Xylox. Let's not keep them waiting." As they made their way through the station's gleaming corridors, Aiden marveled at how far they'd come. Humans now worked alongside dozens of alien species, their combined efforts pushing the boundaries of science and exploration. The council chambers buzzed with activity as Aiden entered. He recognized faces both familiar and alien: High Counselor Thraction, Xenara, and representatives from worlds he'd only dreamed of as a young astrophysicist. "Ambassador Cross," Thraction's voice boomed, silencing the room. "We eagerly await your update." Aiden stepped forward, activating a holographic display. "Esteemed members of the Council, I'm pleased to report that the integration of the Fringe Worlds is proceeding smoothly. Thanks to the collaborative efforts of multiple species, we've established sustainable colonies on 17 previously uninhabitable planets." As Aiden delved into the details of terraforming projects and cultural exchange programs, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Humanity had come so far, proving their worth time and again. Suddenly, an urgent alert cut through the presentation. The station's AI spoke in calm, measured tones. "Attention all personnel. Anomaly detected in Sector 7 Gamma. Unknown energy signature. All non-essential personnel, please report to designated safety zones." The council erupted in a flurry of questions and concerns. Thraction raised all four arms for silence. "Ambassador Cross, given your experience with unusual phenomena, I believe you should investigate this anomaly. Take whatever resources you need." Aiden's mind raced. "Understood, High Counselor. I'll assemble a team immediately." As he left the chambers, Aiden's old crew was already waiting for him. Ethan, now captain of his own ship, grinned. Just like old times, eh? Let's hope not, Aiden chuckled, though his eyes remained serious. The last time we faced an unknown energy signature, we nearly lost the galaxy. They made their way to the docking bay where the Starweaver Roman II awaited, a testament to the combined technological prowess of multiple species. As the crew prepared for launch, Xenara approached Aiden, her galaxy eyes swirling with concern. Aiden, I've been sensing disturbances, echoes in the cosmic fabric. Whatever we're about to face, I fear it may be beyond our current understanding. Aiden placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Then we'll face it together, just like we always have. As the Starweaver Roman II disengaged from the station, Aiden couldn't shake a feeling of déjà vu. Once again, they were heading into the unknown, carrying the hopes of not just humanity, but the entire galactic community. Little did they know, the anomaly they were about to encounter would challenge everything they thought they knew about the universe and their place in it. As the stars streaked by, Aiden steeled himself for whatever lay ahead, unaware that they were about to uncover a secret that had lain dormant since the dawn of time itself. The next chapter in humanity's cosmic journey was about to begin, and the echoes of eternity were calling. The Starweaver Roman II dropped out of faster-than-light travel with a subtle ripple of distorted space. Before them lay Sector 7 Gamma, a region of space that had long been considered unremarkable. Now, it pulsed with an otherworldly energy that set every sensor on the ship screaming. By the cosmic winds, Ethan whispered from the helm. What are we looking at, Aiden? Aiden leaned forward, his eyes fixed on the swirling vortex of energy before them. It was like nothing he'd ever seen, a kaleidoscope of impossible colors and shifting geometries that hurt the eyes to look at directly. Maya, Aiden called out, what are the sensors telling us? Maya's fingers danced over her console, her brow furrowed in concentration. It's like the fabric of space-time itself is unraveling. The energy signatures are similar to what we saw with the Nexus Forge, but exponentially more powerful. Suddenly, Xenara gasped, her iridescent skin pulsing with alarm. Aiden, I'm sensing presences, consciousnesses unlike anything I've encountered before. As if in response to her words, 3 shimmering forms materialized on the bridge. They were vaguely humanoid, but their bodies seemed to be composed of pure energy, shifting and flowing like liquid light. Aiden instinctively stepped forward, placing himself between the apparitions and his crew. I am Ambassador Aiden Cross of Earth, representing the Galactic Unity Council. We mean you no harm. One of the beings moved closer, its voice resonating directly in their minds. Greetings, children of time. We are the Chrono Sapiens. We have awaited this moment for eons. Awaited? Aiden questioned, his diplomatic training kicking in despite his awe. You knew we were coming? Not you specifically, another Chrono Sapient explained, its form rippling with what might have been amusement. But the awakening of the artifact, it has stirred after countless millennia of slumber. Xenara stepped forward, her galaxy eyes wide with wonder. Artifact, do you mean the source of the anomaly? The third Chrono Sapient nodded, or at least performed an approximation of the gesture with its fluid form. A relic of the quantum architects, creators of the Nexus Forge and shapers of reality itself. Its awakening heralds a time of great change and great danger. Aiden felt a chill run down his spine. What kind of danger are we talking about? The artifact holds power beyond your comprehension, the first Chrono Sapient explained. In the wrong hands, it could unravel the very foundations of reality. But in the right hands, it could usher in an era of unprecedented peace and prosperity, Aiden finished, beginning to understand the gravity of the situation. The Chrono Sapiens seemed to confer among themselves, their energy forms intertwining in a complex dance. Finally, they turned back to Aiden. We have observed your species, Aiden Cross. Your actions during the Nexus Forge and Chaos Forge incidents have proven your potential. We believe you may be worthy of undertaking the trial of the artifact. Ethan let out a low whistle. Another cosmic trial? Aiden, are you sure about this? Aiden took a deep breath, weighing the enormity of what was being offered against the potential consequences of refusal. What exactly would this trial entail? A journey, the second Chrono Sapient answered, through space, time, and dimensions beyond your current understanding. You will face challenges that will test not just your physical and mental capabilities, but the very essence of what it means to be human. And if we succeed, Aiden pressed, then the power of the artifact will be yours to wield, to shape the future of not just your species, but all life in the galaxy. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. This was far beyond anything they had faced before. The fate of not just Earth or the galactic community, but potentially all of reality, hung in the balance. Aiden turned to his crew, seeing a mix of fear, excitement, and determination in their eyes. He knew that whatever he decided, they would stand with him. "We accept," Aiden said finally, his voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "We will undertake this trial, not for power or glory, but for the good of all sentient life." The Chrono Sapients seemed to glow brighter at his words. "Then prepare yourselves, children of Earth. The journey begins now." With a flash of blinding light, the Starweaver Roman II and its crew vanished from normal space, hurtling towards a destiny that would challenge everything they thought they knew about the universe and their place in it. The echoes of eternity had called, and humanity had answered. What lay ahead would test them to their very core, but Aiden knew that together, they stood a chance of shaping a future brighter than any of them had dared to imagine. The universe twisted and warped around the Starweaver Roman II as it hurtled through dimensions beyond human comprehension. Aiden gripped his command chair, fighting waves of nausea and disorientation. Around him, his crew struggled to maintain their composure in the face of this mind-bending journey. With a final lurch that seemed to turn reality inside out, they emerged into somewhere else. The viewscreen showed a vast expanse of shimmering, translucent structures that defied Euclidean geometry. Rivers of light flowed between floating islands of crystalline matter, and in the distance, impossibly large beings drifted like living constellations. Where are we?" Ethan managed to gasp out, his hands trembling on the ship's controls. Before anyone could answer, a new presence made itself known. Unlike the energy-based forms of the Chrono Sapients, this being appeared as a shifting shadow, its edges constantly blurring and reforming. "Welcome, travelers, to the crossroads of eternity," the being's voice echoed in their minds. "I am Nexus, a quantum shadow, and I will be your guide through the trials that await you." Aiden stepped forward, instinctively taking on the role of spokesperson for his crew. "Nexus, we're honored to be here. Can you tell us more about these trials?" The quantum shadow's form rippled, giving the impression of a nod. "The artifact you seek is not merely an object of power, but a key to understanding the fundamental nature of reality itself. To prove yourselves worthy, you must navigate 3 realms, each testing a different aspect of your beings." As Nexus spoke, 3 shimmering portals materialized around the Starweaver Roman II. Each pulsed with a different energy, giving off an aura of challenge and mystery. "The realm of mind will test your intellect and problem-solving abilities," Nexus explained, gesturing to a portal that swirled with patterns reminiscent of neural networks. "The realm of spirit will challenge your moral fiber and the strength of your convictions." This portal glowed with a warm, yet somehow unsettling light. And finally, the realm of possibility will force you to confront the infinite potential of reality itself. The third portal was a chaotic swirl of constantly shifting probabilities. Aiden exchanged glances with his crew, seeing a mix of determination and apprehension in their eyes. "Do we all need to go through each realm?" he asked. Nexus's form seemed to smile, though it was hard to tell with its ever-shifting appearance. "No, Ambassador Cross. You may divide your team as you see fit, but choose wisely, for the challenges in each realm are tailored to test you to your very limits." After a brief discussion with his crew, Aiden made his decision. "Ethan and Calther will take on the realm of mind. Maya and Xylox will brave the realm of spirit. Xenara and I will face the realm of possibility. As the teams prepared to enter their respective portals, Nexus offered one final warning. Remember, travelers, nothing here is quite as it seems. Trust in yourselves and in each other. The fate of reality itself may depend on your success. With deep breaths and final nods of encouragement to each other, the three teams stepped into their assigned portals. The Starweaver Roman 2 vanished, safely stored in a pocket dimension until their return. As Aiden and Xenara crossed the threshold into the realm of possibility, reality seemed to fracture around them. Infinite versions of themselves stretched out in all directions, each representing a different choice, a different potential future. "Stay close," Aiden said to Xenara, reaching out to grasp her hand. "Whatever happens, we face it together." Xenara nodded, her galaxy eyes wide with a mix of wonder and trepidation. "Together," she agreed. As they took their first steps into the swirling chaos of possibility, Aiden couldn't shake the feeling that this trial would push them to their very limits. The power to reshape reality itself lay at the end of this journey, but at what cost? The echoes of eternity surrounded them, whispering of futures both wondrous and terrifying. Humanity's greatest test had begun, and the universe held its breath, waiting to see if they would rise to the challenge or be lost in the infinite sea of what could be. In the realm of mind, Ethan and Calther found themselves in a vast library that seemed to stretch infinitely in all directions. Shelves towered impossibly high, filled with books in languages both familiar and utterly alien. "Welcome, seekers of knowledge," a disembodied voice echoed through the space. "To prove yourselves worthy, you must solve the riddle of existence. The answer lies within these tomes, but beware, false information can be as dangerous as ignorance." Ethan exchanged a determined look with Calther. "All right, big guy. Let's show them what a human and a Thraxian can do when we put our heads together." Meanwhile, in the realm of spirit, Maya and Xylox materialized in a serene garden. Ethereal beings of pure light floated among the otherworldly flora, their voices a soft chorus of wisdom and temptation. "To pass this trial," one of the beings spoke, its voice like chiming crystals, "you must navigate the labyrinth of ethics. Each choice you make will shape your path and reveal the true nature of your spirits." Maya felt a shiver run down her spine. "Xylox, whatever happens in there, we stick together, okay?" Xylox's gelatinous form pulsed in agreement. "Indeed, our diverse perspectives may be our greatest strength in this challenge." In the realm of possibility, Aiden and Xenara found themselves adrift in a sea of potential realities. Glimpses of alternate histories and possible futures swirled around them like a cosmic kaleidoscope. "Travelers," a chorus of voices spoke from everywhere and nowhere. "To master possibility, you must first master yourselves. Navigate the nexus of choices, but be warned, each decision will ripple through reality in ways you cannot foresee." Aiden gripped Xenara's hand tighter. "Remember why we're here. No matter what we see, no matter how tempting, we're doing this for the good of all." Xenara nodded, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing with determination. "Lead on, Aiden. Your intuition has guided us true before." As each team delved deeper into their respective challenges, the true nature of the trials began to reveal itself. In the realm of mind, Ethan and Calther grappled with paradoxes that threatened to unravel their very understanding of the universe. Ancient equations and cosmic theories that had baffled the greatest minds for eons now lay before them, demanding solutions. In the labyrinth of ethics, Maya and Xylox faced moral dilemmas of staggering complexity. They were forced to weigh the needs of individuals against entire civilizations, to question the very foundations of their beliefs in the face of cosmic truths. And in the nexus of choices, Aiden and Xenara witnessed the far-reaching consequences of seemingly insignificant decisions. They saw timelines where humanity never reached the stars, others where they became tyrants of the galaxy, and some where their actions had inadvertently doomed entire species. Hours or perhaps eons passed, time having little meaning in these realms beyond normal space. Each team pushed themselves to their mental, emotional, and spiritual limits, drawing strength from each other when their individual resolve faltered. Finally, as if awakening from a deep dream, the crews found themselves reunited on a platform suspended in the void. Before them stood Nexus, the quantum shadow, its form somehow more defined than before. "You have done well, travelers," Nexus intoned, a note of respect in its otherworldly voice. "Few have ever progressed this far in the trials, but your greatest challenge still awaits." With a gesture, Nexus revealed a pulsing orb of energy that seemed to contain entire universes within its swirling depths. The artifact they had sought, the key to reshaping reality itself. "Behold the Cosmic Codex," Nexus announced. "Within it lies the power to rewrite the very laws of existence. But to claim it, you must make one final choice, a choice that will test everything you have learned and everything you believe in." Aiden stepped forward, feeling the weight of not just his crew's expectations, but the fate of entire realities resting on his shoulders. "What choice is that?" he asked, his voice steady despite the cosmic forces swirling around them. Nexus's form seemed to smile, though it was hard to tell with its ever-shifting appearance. "The choice, Aiden Cross, between ultimate power and ultimate sacrifice. Are you prepared to make it?" As the crew gathered around him, each bearing the marks of their individual trials, Aiden knew that whatever came next would define not just their mission, but the very future of life in the universe. The echoes of eternity hung on his next words, waiting to see if humanity would rise to its greatest challenge yet. Aiden stood before the Cosmic Codex, its swirling energies reflecting in his eyes. The weight of the choice before him was almost palpable, pressing down on him like the gravity of 1,000 worlds. "What do you mean by ultimate power and ultimate sacrifice?" Aiden asked, his voice steady despite the turmoil in his mind. Nexus's form rippled, expanding to encompass the void around them. "The Cosmic Codex offers the power to reshape reality according to your will. You could end all conflict, eliminate suffering, even rewrite the laws of physics themselves. But such power comes at a cost." "What cost?" Ethan interjected, his face lined with concern. "To wield the Codex," Nexus continued, "one must become one with it. The user's consciousness would expand across all of space and time, gaining godlike power, but losing their individual identity in the process." A heavy silence fell over the group as the implications sank in. Aiden felt his crew's eyes on him, waiting for his decision. Calther stepped forward, his warrior's instincts sensing the gravity of the moment. "Ambassador, such power, it could ensure peace for all eternity. But at what cost to your very self?" Maya's voice was quiet but firm. "Aiden, remember what we learned in the labyrinth of ethics. Sometimes the right choice isn't the easy one." Xylox's gelatinous form pulsed with nervous energy. "The possibilities are endless, but so too are the potential consequences." Xenara placed a hand on Aiden's shoulder, her touch grounding him amidst the swirling cosmic energies. "Whatever you decide, Aiden, know that we stand with you." Aiden closed his eyes, his mind racing through everything they had experienced. The trials they had faced, the civilizations they had encountered, the bonds they had forged across the stars. He thought of Earth, of the galactic community they had helped build, of the infinite potential for growth and understanding that lay before them. And in that moment, with the power to reshape reality at his fingertips, Aiden Cross made his choice. "No," he said, his voice ringing out with certainty. "We reject this power." Nexus's form shimmered with what might have been surprise. "You would turn away from the ability to end all suffering, to create a perfect universe." Aiden nodded, standing tall. "A perfect universe crafted by one being, no matter how well-intentioned, isn't truly perfect. The beauty of existence lies in its imperfections, in the struggles and triumphs that shape us. We choose to face the challenges of reality together, to grow and evolve as a galactic community." He turned to his crew, seeing pride and agreement in their eyes. "Our greatest strength isn't in godlike power, but in our diversity, our ability to come together and overcome obstacles as one." That's the legacy we want to leave for the universe." As Aiden spoke, the cosmic codex began to pulse, its energies swirling faster and faster. Nexus's form expanded, merging with the void around them. "You have chosen wisely, Aiden Cross," Nexus's voice echoed, filled with approval. "You have proven that humanity, and the galactic alliance you represent, are truly ready for the next stage of cosmic evolution." The space around them began to shift and warp, reality itself seeming to reconfigure. When it settled, they found themselves back on the bridge of the Starweaver Roman 2, but something was different. The ship's systems hummed with new energy, displays showing advancements in technology they had never dreamed possible. "What happened?" Ethan asked, marveling at the changes. Nexus's voice, now coming from the ship's communications system, explained. "By rejecting absolute power in favor of collective growth, you have unlocked a new potential within yourselves and your technology. The Cosmic Codex has integrated with your ship, offering you enhanced capabilities to explore and understand the universe, without the burden of godlike power." Aiden looked around at his crew, seeing the wonder and excitement in their eyes. They had faced their greatest trial and emerged not as gods, but as something perhaps even more remarkable, a united force ready to face the challenges of the cosmos together. As the Starweaver EI's new systems came online, revealing star charts of previously unknown regions and readings of cosmic phenomena they had never detected before, Aiden knew that their true journey was just beginning. The echoes of eternity had tested them, and humanity had proven its worth not through dominance, but through wisdom, compassion, and unity. The universe awaited, filled with new wonders to explore and challenges to overcome together. As the Starweaver Roman 2 cruised through uncharted space, its enhanced sensors painting a picture of the cosmos more detailed than anything they had ever seen, the crew was still coming to terms with their transformed ship and the implications of their choice. Aiden stood at the main viewport, watching as stellar phenomena previously invisible to their instruments danced across the screen. "Nexus," he called out, still marveling at the EY's integration into their systems. "What exactly are we capable of now?" The ship's speakers hummed to life, Nexus's voice now a harmonious blend with the Starweaver's own AI. "Your vessel now exists partially outside conventional spacetime. You can observe and interact with aspects of the universe previously hidden from view. However, the full extent of your capabilities will reveal themselves as you learn and grow." Ethan whistled low, his hands dancing over the new controls. "It's like we've been given the keys to the cosmos, but we're still learning how to drive." "A apt analogy," Calther rumbled, his four eyes scanning the readouts with intense focus. "We must proceed with caution and wisdom." Suddenly, an alert chimed through the bridge. Maya's fingers flew over her console, her eyes widening. "Aiden, you need to see this. We're picking up a distress signal, but it's like nothing I've ever seen before." The main screen shifted, displaying a pulsing energy signature that seemed to flicker in and out of existence. Accompanying it was a message, not in any language they recognized, but somehow understood on a fundamental level. It's coming from another dimension," Xenara gasped, her bioluminescent patterns swirling with excitement and trepidation. Aiden felt a familiar mix of curiosity and caution. This was exactly the kind of situation their new capabilities were meant for, but the potential dangers were unknown. "Nexus, what can you tell us about the source of this signal?" "The signal originates from a realm existing parallel to our own," Nexus explained. "The beings there, known as the Void Echoes, exist as pure energy and thought. They are reaching out because their realm is collapsing, threatening to take countless sentient minds with it." The gravity of the situation settled over the crew. They had the power to help, but intervening in the affairs of another dimension was uncharted territory. "If we do nothing, how many will be lost?" Aiden asked, already knowing he couldn't stand by while an entire civilization faced extinction. "Billions of consciousnesses," Nexus replied solemnly. "But I must warn you, Ambassador Cross, crossing dimensional boundaries carries great risk. The laws of physics as you know them may not apply." Aiden looked around at his crew, seeing the same determination in their eyes that he felt. "We've come too far and seen too much to turn our backs now. Ethan, set a course for the source of that signal. Maya, work with Nexus to establish a safe method of interdimensional travel. Calthor, I want you to prepare for any possible threat we might encounter." As the crew sprang into action, Xenara approached Aiden. "This is it, isn't it? The real test of our new abilities and our resolve." Aiden nodded, his eyes fixed on the swirling energies displayed on the viewscreen. "We chose to face the universe's challenges together rather than reshape it to our will. Now it's time to prove we made the right choice." The Starweaver AI's engines hummed with newfound power as it prepared to breach the barriers between dimensions. Aiden couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and trepidation. They were about to go where no human or known alien race had gone before, facing unknown dangers to save beings they had never met. As the ship approached the dimensional rift, reality itself seemed to waver. The familiar starfield outside the viewport began to distort, replaced by swirling patterns of energy and light that defied description. "All hands, brace for interdimensional transit," Aiden commanded, gripping his chair tightly. "Whatever we face on the other side, remember, we do this not for power or glory, but because it's right. We are the custodians of a cosmic legacy, and it's time to live up to that responsibility." With a flash of impossible colors and a sensation that seemed to turn the crew inside out and back again, the Starweaver Roman 2 vanished from normal space. They were committed now, hurtling towards a realm of pure energy and thought, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them in their quest to save the Void Echoes. The next chapter of their cosmic journey had begun, and the echoes of eternity resonated with the potential of what they might achieve or the catastrophe they might unleash. The transition between dimensions was unlike anything the crew had ever experienced. For a moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, they existed everywhere and nowhere, their very beings dispersed across an infinite tapestry of possibility. Then, with a jolt that sent cascading waves of sensation through their bodies, they emerged into something else. Gone was the familiar starfield, replaced by a realm of pure energy. Swirling vortexes of thought and emotion surrounded the Starweaver Roman 2, pulsing with a rhythm that seemed to resonate with the very core of existence. "By the cosmic winds," Xenara breathed, her galaxy eyes wide with wonder. It's beautiful." Aiden shook his head, trying to clear the lingering disorientation. "Status report. Is everyone all right?" The crew sounded off, each grappling with the mind-bending nature of their new surroundings. Ethan's voice was strained as he reported, "The ship seems intact, but our systems are going haywire. It's like the laws of physics are more suggestions here." "Nexus," Aiden called out, "can you make sense of what we're seeing?" The eye's voice seemed to come from everywhere at once, blending with the energy pulses around them. "We have successfully transitioned into the realm of the Void Echoes. What you perceive as swirling energy are actually the thoughts and emotions of billions of consciousnesses." Suddenly, a new presence made itself known. A being of pure light and vibration appeared before them, its form constantly shifting and reforming. "Greetings, travelers from the realm of matter," the being's voice resonated directly in their minds. "I am Zephyr, a representative of the Void Echoes. We thank you for answering our call." Aiden stepped forward, instinctively taking on the role of diplomat even in this alien realm. "We're honored to be here, Zephyr. I'm Ambassador Aiden Cross from Earth. We've come to help, but we need to understand what's happening." Zephyr's form pulsed with what might have been gratitude. "Our realm is collapsing, Ambassador. The cosmic strings that hold our dimension together are unraveling. If not stopped, it will mean the end of our entire civilization." As Zephyr explained, the crew began to notice distortions in the energy field around them. Areas of darkness were spreading, consuming the swirling thoughts and emotions of the Void Echoes. "What's causing this?" Maya asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her awe. Zephyr's form dimmed slightly. "We believe it is the work of the entropy weavers, beings from the spaces between dimensions who feed on the collapse of realities. They have found a way to accelerate the natural decay of our cosmic strings. Aiden's mind raced, trying to formulate a plan. Is there a way to repair the damage? To reinforce your realm's structure? There is one possibility, Zephyr replied, a note of hesitation in its mental voice. The Nexus Core, the heart of our dimension. If we could channel enough energy through it, we might be able to restabilize our realm. But the journey there is perilous, and the amount of power required is immense. Calther stepped forward, his warrior's instincts sensing the gravity of the situation. Whatever dangers lie ahead, we will face them. We did not come this far to stand idly by while a civilization falls. Aiden nodded in agreement. Zephyr, guide us to this Nexus Core. We'll find a way to generate the energy you need. As the Starweaver Roman II prepared to navigate the treacherous currents of thought and emotion, Aiden couldn't shake a feeling of unease. They were about to plunge into the heart of a dying dimension, facing threats they could barely comprehend, with the fate of billions hanging in the balance. "Ethan, take us in," Aiden commanded, his voice steady despite the cosmic forces swirling around them. "Everyone else, prepare for anything. We're about to put our new capabilities to the ultimate test." As the ship surged forward, reality itself seemed to bend and warp around them. The echoes of eternity resonated with the hopes and fears of the Void Echoes, and the crew of the Starweaver Roman II steeled themselves for the challenges ahead. Little did they know, their actions here would have consequences that would ripple across dimensions, testing not just their abilities, but the very foundations of their beliefs and the limits of their humanity. The race to save a dimension had begun, and the true nature of their cosmic legacy was about to be revealed. The journey through the realm of the Void Echoes was a symphony of impossible sensations. The Starweaver Roman II navigated currents of pure thought, dodging maelstroms of raw emotion that threatened to overwhelm their senses. Ethan's piloting skills were pushed to their limits as he guided the ship through a landscape that defied conventional physics. "We're approaching the Nexus Core," Maya announced, her voice strained as she interpreted the ship's bizarre readings. "But there's something else. Energy signatures unlike anything we've seen before." Aiden leaned forward, his eyes fixed on the swirling chaos ahead. "The entropy weavers?" As if in answer, dark tendrils of anti-energy began to coalesce around the ship. Where they touched the vibrant thought streams of the Void Echoes, reality itself seemed to unravel. "Evasive maneuvers," Aiden shouted, but it was too late. One of the tendrils lashed out, passing through the Starweaver's hull as if it wasn't there. The moment it touched the interior of the ship, alarms blared and systems began to fail. "We're losing power," Ethan yelled, fighting with the controls. "It's like that thing is eating away at our very existence." Calther moved to a weapon station, his 4 eyes narrowed in concentration. "Our conventional weapons are useless here. We need to think beyond physical combat." Xenara's eyes suddenly widened, her bioluminescent patterns pulsing rapidly. "Aiden, I have an idea. The Cosmic Codex, it's not just enhancing our technology, it's expanding our consciousness. If we could somehow project our thoughts, our will." Understanding dawned on Aiden. "We fight thought with thought. Nexus, can you help us interface directly with the ship's systems?" "Affirmative," Nexus replied, its voice resonating with newfound power. "Preparing neural interface. Be warned, this will place immense strain on your minds." As more entropy weavers converged on their position, the crew linked their minds with the Starweaver Roman II. The sensation was overwhelming, a rush of information and awareness that threatened to drown their individual consciousnesses. Aiden gritted his teeth, focusing on a single thought: protection. He visualized a shield of pure will surrounding the ship, reinforced by the determination and unity of his crew. To their amazement, a barrier of golden energy materialized around the Starweaver, pushing back the dark tendrils of the entropy weavers. But the strain was immense, and Aiden could feel his crew's minds buckling under the pressure. "We can't keep this up forever," Maya gasped, sweat beading on her forehead. "We need to reach the Nexus Core." Zephyr's voice cut through their shared consciousness. "The core is just ahead. But the entropy weavers have nearly breached its defenses. You must hurry. With a surge of collective will, the crew propelled the Starweaver Roman 2 forward, their merged minds guiding the ship through the chaotic dimensional currents. As they approached the Nexus core, they saw it a swirling vortex of pure cosmic energy, surrounded by a writhing mass of entropy weavers. "How do we stop them?" Ethan asked, his thoughts echoing through their shared mindscape. Aiden's consciousness expanded, drawing on the knowledge imparted by the Cosmic Codex. He saw the intricate web of energy that held this dimension together, and the dark anti-energy of the entropy weavers that was unraveling it. "We need to reweave the cosmic strings," Aiden realized. "Not just protect them, but actively repair the damage." Calther's mind resonated with Warrior's resolve. "Then let us be the weavers of fate, Ambassador. Show us how." Channeling every ounce of will and drawing on the expanded consciousness granted by the Cosmic Codex, Aiden began to guide his crew in an intricate dance of thought and energy. They extended their merged consciousness beyond the ship, reaching out to grasp the very fabric of this dimension. It was a battle fought not with weapons, but with ideas. Every strand of cosmic energy they rewove was met with fierce resistance from the entropy weavers. The strain was immense, threatening to tear their minds apart. But as they worked, something remarkable happened. The consciousness of the void echoes began to join with theirs, billions of minds lending their strength to the effort. It was a symphony of thought and will, a collective determination to exist that resonated across the cosmos. As the last strand was rewoven and the entropy weavers were pushed back, Aiden felt a surge of triumph. But it was short-lived. The effort had taken its toll, and as their merged consciousness began to fragment, he realized the true cost of their victory. The Starweaver Roman 2, drained of power and barely holding together, drifted towards the still active Nexus core. As reality began to fade around them, Aiden had one last, desperate idea. "Everyone," he called out with a last of his strength, "focus on home, on our dimension, on who we are." As consciousness slipped away, the crew of the Starweaver Roman 2 clung to their memories, their identities, and their unbreakable bond. The Nexus core pulsed one final time, and in a flash of cosmic energy, they vanished from the realm of the void echoes. The echoes of eternity resonated with their sacrifice, carrying the story of their bravery across dimensions. But for Aiden and his crew, everything faded to darkness, leaving only one burning question: what would be the price of their victory? Consciousness returned to Aiden in fragments. Flashes of memory, cosmic strings rewoven, the triumphant song of billions of void echoes. The searing pain of overextended minds blended with new sensations. The sterile smell of a medical bay, the soft beep of monitoring equipment, the low hum of familiar engines. He opened his eyes, blinking against the harsh light. As his vision cleared, he found himself looking into the concerned face of Dr. Leela Monroe, the Starweaver EI's chief medical officer. "Welcome back, Ambassador," Leela said, her voice a mix of relief and lingering worry. "You had us all very concerned." Aiden tried to sit up, but his body protested, every muscle aching as if he'd run a marathon. "The crew," he managed to croak out, his throat dry. "Are they?" "All alive," Leela assured him, helping him take a sip of water. "But like you, they're still recovering. Whatever you all went through, well, let's just say it pushed the human body to its limits and beyond." As Aiden's mind cleared, the full weight of their experience in the Void Echoes dimension came rushing back. "How long have we been out? What happened after we left?" Leela's expression turned grave. "You've been unconscious for nearly 2 weeks, Ambassador. As for what happened..." She trailed off, looking uncertain. "Perhaps I can explain." Nexus's voice came from the room's speakers, somehow sounding both more and less human than before. "When you used the last of your combined will to focus on home, the Nexus core interpreted that intent. It not only returned us to our dimension, but also to a point in space-time that resonated with your collective concept of home." Aiden's brow furrowed. "What do you mean? Nexus, where are we?" "We are in orbit around Earth," Nexus replied. "But not the Earth you left. Ambassador, we have traveled nearly 50 years into the future." The news hit Aiden like a physical blow. 50 years. Everyone they knew, everything they had worked for. How much had changed? Before he could fully process this, the medical bay's door slid open. Ethan walked in, looking older and wearier than Aiden remembered, but with the same glint of determination in his eyes. "Good to see you awake, old friend," he said, his voice rough with emotion. "We've got a lot to catch up on." Over the next few hours, as Aiden regained his strength and the rest of the crew awakened, they pieced together what had happened. Their disappearance 50 years ago had been a pivotal moment in galactic history. The knowledge and technology they had gained from their encounter with the Cosmic Codex had slowly filtered into the galactic community through their last transmissions, spurring a new age of exploration and understanding. But it hadn't all been progress and enlightenment. In their absence, new factions had risen, old alliances had shifted, and the balance of power in the galaxy had changed dramatically. "The cosmic Darwinists," Calther growled, his warrior's instincts sensing the lingering threat. "They've grown in power, twisting the knowledge we brought back to suit their own ends." Maya nodded grimly. "And they're not the only ones. There are groups out there who see our return as a threat to the new order they've established." As the crew gathered on the Starweaver EI's bridge, looking out at an Earth that was both familiar and alien, Aiden felt the weight of their new reality settling on his shoulders. They were no longer just explorers or diplomats. They were living legends, relics of a pivotal moment in history, suddenly thrust back into a galaxy that had moved on without them. "So," Ethan said, breaking the heavy silence, "what's our next move, Ambassador? We're 50 years out of our time, with outdated knowledge, and who knows how many enemies gunning for us. But we've also got a ship full of technology that's still light years beyond anything out there, and a crew that stared down the end of reality itself." Aiden looked around at his team, seeing the same mix of determination and uncertainty he felt reflected in their eyes. They had saved a dimension, rewritten the laws of physics, and cheated time itself. But now they faced a challenge perhaps even greater, finding their place in a future they never expected to see. "We do what we've always done," Aiden said, his voice growing stronger with each word. "We adapt, we learn, and we fight for what's right. The galaxy might have changed, but our mission hasn't. We're still the custodians of a cosmic legacy, and it's time we lived up to that responsibility once again." As the Starweaver EI's engines hummed to life, preparing to take them into an uncertain future, Aiden couldn't help but feel a spark of excitement beneath his apprehension. They had been given a second chance, an opportunity to shape the galaxy's future with the wisdom of their past. The echoes of eternity had brought them here for a reason. Now it was up to them to discover what that reason was, and to face whatever challenges this new era might bring. Their greatest adventure was about to begin anew. The Starweaver Roman 2 glided through the solar system, its advanced sensors painting a picture of a much-changed cosmic neighborhood. Aiden stood at the command center, surrounded by holographic displays showing the current state of galactic affairs. "It's remarkable," Maya mused, swiping through data on technological advancements. "Some of these developments are direct offshoots of the knowledge we brought back. Others, it's like they took our ideas and ran in completely unexpected directions." Ethan nodded, his eyes fixed on a tactical display. "And not all of it for the better. Look at these weapon systems. Someone's been preparing for war on a scale we've never seen before." Aiden's brow furrowed as he absorbed the information. The galaxy they had returned to was a complex tapestry of progress and conflict. The unity they had worked so hard to foster had fractured in their absence, with multiple factions vying for dominance. "Nexus," Aiden called out. "What can you tell us about the current political landscape? Who are the major players?" The Eye's voice resonated through the bridge, tinged with a new depth of understanding. "The galactic community has splintered into 3 main factions. The Harmonics, who seek to continue the path of unity and cooperation. The Neo-Darwinists, an evolution of the cosmic Darwinists, who believe in advancing through controlled conflict. and the quantum purists, who reject much of the new technology as too dangerous. Cowther growled low in his throat. And where does Earth stand in all this? Earth and its colonies have largely aligned with the harmonics, Nexus replied. But there is growing pressure from the other factions. Your return has complicated matters. Before Aiden could respond, an alert chimed through the bridge. Xylox's gelatinous form rippled with excitement as he reported, "Incoming transmission from Earth Command. They're requesting we dock at the Lunar Nexus Station for debriefing." Aiden exchanged glances with his crew. This was their first real contact with the world they had left behind. "Take us in, Ethan. But stay alert. We don't know exactly what kind of welcome we're in for." As the Starweaver Roman 2 approached the massive space station orbiting Earth's moon, the crew couldn't help but marvel at how much had changed. The station itself was a marvel of engineering, its design incorporating principles they recognized from their encounter with the Cosmic Codex. Upon docking, they were met by a delegation led by a familiar face, albeit one aged 50 years. Admiral Sophie Lang, once a junior officer they had known, now stood before them as the head of Earth's Space Force. "Ambassador Cross," Sophie greeted, her voice thick with emotion. "On behalf of Earth and the Harmonic Alliance, welcome home. We have so much to discuss." The debriefing that followed was intense. For hours, Aiden and his crew recounted their experiences in the Void Echo's dimension, while Sophie and her team filled them in on 50 years of galactic history. The revelation of their time jump had sent shockwaves through the political landscape, with some hailing their return as a miracle, while others saw it as a threat to the new order. "The knowledge you brought back changed everything," Sophie explained. "But without you here to guide its implementation, things diverged. The neo-Darwinists twisted the concepts of cosmic evolution to justify their aggressive expansion. The quantum purists formed in reaction, fearing we were meddling with forces beyond our control." Aiden leaned forward, his mind racing with the implications. "And the harmonics? What's their stance?" Sophie's eyes gleamed with a familiar determination. "We've tried to stay true to the principles of unity and cooperation you championed. But it hasn't been easy. There are those who believe your return is the key to resolving the growing tensions. Others see us as a threat to be eliminated," Ethan finished grimly. As the debriefing concluded, Aiden found himself standing at a viewport, looking out at the Earth below. It was still the blue marble he remembered, but now adorned with the glittering lights of orbital habitats and the scars of climate engineering projects. "What's our next move, Aiden?" Xenara asked, joining him at the window. "We're relics of the past, but with knowledge that could shape the future. Where do we fit in this new galaxy?" Aiden's reflection stared back at him, unchanged despite the half-century that had passed. He thought of all they had been through, of the cosmic legacy they carried, and of the fractured galaxy that needed guidance now more than ever. "We do what we've always done," he said, his voice filled with quiet determination. "We adapt, we learn, and we fight for what's right. The galaxy might have changed, but our mission hasn't. We're still the custodians of a cosmic legacy, and it's time we lived up to that responsibility once again." As the crew of the Starweaver Roman 2 prepared to venture out into a changed galaxy, Aiden couldn't help but feel a mix of trepidation and excitement. They had been given a second chance, an opportunity to shape the future with the wisdom of their past and the power granted by the Cosmic Codex. The echoes of eternity had brought them to this moment for a reason. Now it was up to them to navigate the complex web of alliances and conflicts, to find a way to unite a fractured galaxy, and to face whatever new cosmic challenges awaited them. Their greatest adventure was about to begin anew, in a future they never expected to see, but one they were uniquely equipped to shape. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what these legends returned from the past would do next. As the Starweaver EI's engines hummed to life, preparing to take them into the unknown once more, Aiden knew one thing for certain. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, as they always had. The echoes of eternity resonated with possibility, and humanity's cosmic legacy was about to enter its next thrilling chapter.